Fine. I hit the button. I hit the button. I hit the button. All right, we're live.
Well, these are a good vintage pair too, made in September of '79.
No,
Okay.
those things. Yeah.
So I'm curious now, because you two obviously know, what are those boots specifically? What are they?
This is an invention that came out of the Korean War to replace the sorrels that were used in World War II. And it's a big rubber sock, essentially. It's rubber on the inside, rubber on the outside, and it's got felt in between the two rubber layers. Yeah. So they're entirely waterproof, but they're incredibly heavy, incredibly bulbous. They'll fit into snowshoes, skis, and all that other jazz. And the black ones are rated down to like negative.
Show the back lip to show into the get into the yep.
Oh,
skis.
okay.
A little hook for skis and snowshoes and stuff. And then the black ones are rated down to like negative 10.
30.
And
it's 30. Well,
30?
I thought it was 30.
And then
I thought it was 30. I could be
down
wrong.
to like negative 60.
Yeah, the white ones. I have a pair of white ones. I bought those for $30 years ago because they're like.
I was just like, I got these for cheap. I've had them for
right.
years.
We can't give the size away. It's 14. Nobody has a 14. I'm like, I do, and I need a pair of fucking good like winter boots. So bought those, and went hunting with those back when I hunted deer, and there's still deer blood on them, which is fun.
Mm-hmm. At least they're just rubber, so they wash off real nice. So.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I was too fucking lazy, like even for that, because I was dragging a fucking deer.
Yeah,
but,
it won't hurt them, that's for sure.
But no, those fucking boots, I don't give a shit how bad they look or how heavy and
I got made
so
much fun of today wearing those, but I was
why?
Because they look horrendous wearing them
Who
around.
gives a fuck?
Exactly. I'm like, I'm not cold, so I didn't care.
Dude, those things are the best. Like people that don't like Michael, you're coming out here in February, and it's also been a pretty average winter, so it's gonna be really fucking cold when you're out here. Okay, like today it was negative 22 all day.
You should invest in a pair, Michael. It's the best. It's one of the best purchases you'll ever make in footwear. I promise.
I like things that last forever, so I might.
They do last forever. Like I said, this is a good year. It's 79. It's a good year for boots. So.
Yeah.
You wouldn't even know those things were old.
Dude, yeah, those things are. If you live up in a climate like we do, it's like you have to have one pair of boots like that, or you can't function for a certain part of the year.
My first pair that I had was my dad's, and they were dated 53. And they finally, because the heel fell off.
The rubber heel, yeah.
Yeah, the rubber heel just separated. The boots were still great, but the heel fell off of one of them, so I had to get another pair. And that's when I got this pair.
Yeah.
That pair was literally dated 53. So, and I was wearing those probably in 2009 when they fell apart.
Like 50 years then.
Yeah.
No, I mean, they last a while. Like, and then now they're made better. Like in the 70s, they're made
they
better.
still make them, and they're made even better now. Yeah. So.
But no, those things are fucking. They're ugly, but they work so well, and
it's easily, I think, probably in best purchases I've ever made in my life, top 10.
Well, yeah. So for hunting, like I wore those last time I was hunting in 2016. People were like, "What the fuck are those?" I'm like, "They're boots that are going to keep my feet warm with wearing one layer of socks all day, and I'll be sweating."
Yep.
And it's like, yeah, they're heavy. They suck to walk in, like as far as my hip flexors and quads being out of shape and hamstrings. But like, as far as being warm. Dude.
Yeah, you can't beat them. And the best part is like, unlike other boots, because they're rubber on the inside.
Right.
If you get water in them, you just take them off and pour the water out.
Dump it out.
Back on, you're
go
good
back in. Yeah, they're so fucking amazing. And yeah,
they're almost $200 a pair now, and I spent like $30 on mine.
Right, I spent $30 on my size 14. Those fuckers are huge.
Well, someday I'll get them. If I find a good deal,
you will. Because
they
but like
sell them all over online. You can find them pretty easy.
So when you come out here, Michael, like we're on track for an average winter, so it'll probably be about 20 to 30 below at the time you come out here, and we've got a foot of snow on the ground just sitting there.
Yeah, already. So it's gonna stay for the rest of the winter,
and it'll snow again, and it'll be like a lot. So you can actually
February is usually pretty bad for snow. So
you can experience it. We'll videotape. We'll like capture this on camera, like your experience with this. Be like,
yeah, we gotta get Michael out there in his tidy whities swimming around in the snowbank.
Oh my
Well,
god,
that would be cool.
I don't think I've ever worn tidy whities.
Well, you have to if you're swimming in the snowbank.
Well, I mean, yeah, your balls are going to shrivel up into the same kind of thing. So
They're going to turn into raisins.
Your balls are receding to your fucking uterus, and you don't have a uterus.
But you can wear whatever boots you want. That's the formality. You're allowed to. You have to wear tidy whities, but you can wear whatever footwear you want. That's it.
I'm not. I have a number of different types of boots. I'm not going to wear my Steve Maddens. That's what I wore when Mike we went to when we went to the Iowa place. No, I have other types of boots. I have boots that like come up to my thigh and stuff like that I could wear.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Here I wear ankle boots that are insulated because then you have your pants and whatever, and they're less.
And don't wear anything you don't want to get ruined because there's a lot of salt around here already. So
dumping everywhere. Yeah.
Well, you use sand here, which is okay, but not very effective.
So
no, it's gonna be really fucking cold.
Yeah,
it's gonna be colder than shit. Yeah.
So going off of boots and stuff like that, though, Mike, you think we should share something I picked up this week? The red helmet.
Sure, go for it if you want.
Okay, cool. Because I don't know too much about this, but apparently Mike,
shit, yes, the liner, not the helmet.
The liner.
Like, okay, I'm a nerd. If you say helmet, I'm like the shell. Like what?
Yeah, okay.
Helmet?
Sorry, the red liner.
The red liner, the red helmet liner. Yeah, okay. All right, yeah.
So I picked this up. This is an M1 liner, and as you can see as I drop it, as you can see from the inside here, and but yeah, it's red and it says Grigowski on it, and it has these decals on the side. Now, I wasn't sure what these meant when I bought this, and this thing was dirt cheap. But Mike was like, holy shit, you just picked up something really interesting when I got it. But I still don't quite know the significance of this because I haven't had time to research it yet.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
So I sent you the links, but like that's a 364th Infantry Regiment, an all-black regiment that was formed, and they went to camp. I don't remember which camp, but they were in Mississippi. Pretty sure it was Camp Shelby. And they got into a scuffle with like white MPs.
Of course they did.
Ridiculous shit. And then they like got broken up, like, because a lot of them got killed in that apparently. And then they got broken up, and like a lot of them were sent to the Aleutian Islands. And then apparently, this is not confirmed, but it's kind of something that like is weird. Apparently, a lot of these guys from 364th were lined up and shot.
I mean, if you're gonna do it, that's the place to do it. The middle of nowhere in Alaska, like come on. It's not even a state, so laws don't apply there at that time, really.
But like that unit alone is like, it's a weird unit because they were training to like, I don't know where the fuck they were going. I think the ETO, and then they're in Mississippi, and they had a lot of shit go down.
Guarded stuff, yeah.
Yep,
Mississippi's not a good place if you're a person of color at that time to start things.
Well, a colored person at that time, you can say that. I mean, you can say it now because it's the same goddamn thing. But
well, here's the thing: if you're a colored person in Mississippi right now, it's probably not a good time to start things. Just saying, So
yeah.
All of a sudden, the chat just goes out.
yeah.
I'm just saying. So,
but anyway, so that unit, it was very. It's one of the Army's more dark, kind of like mysterious units.
Oh, so you mean it's buried and nobody knows anything about it?
Right.
So, I love how the U.S. has a nasty habit of doing stuff that they don't like.
Well, so the fact that you have a helmet from there is like, well,
that's pretty
where the
rare.
Fuck did this come from? And why is it red?
Yeah, why is it red?
Why does it have the unit insignia on there? The battalion, like, what the fuck?
Well, I've only ever seen one red M1 helmet liner before, and it was actually, I don't know if it was that unit, but it was an all-black unit as well that was building a highway during World War II in Alaska from Juneau up to Anchorage.
Might have been the same one.
Yeah, because I know that I remember reading something about them because I saw a picture, and you see them there sitting there with their shovels, and they got their greatcoats on. There's a bunch of pine trees in the background.
Yeah.
And they were sent out there because they were told they couldn't go fight So, but they could help by going to do this.
Yeah.
And I guess they did participate in the Aleutian Island campaign because they were the closest unit at the time. And then they came back and were building this highway from Juneau to Anchorage. So for most of the war, by hand, with hand tools, essentially. So
yeah. So Mike,
well, when Michael sent me the pictures, I was like, "We're not using that for the film." He goes,
"No, that's
why
a
not?"
piece
I'm
of
like,
history right there.
That's a collector's item. Like
Yeah.
that is a really huge piece of history. Like we're not
in,
sure.
It's in amazing condition too. I mean,
I
look
know.
at the inside of it. Yeah, it's all, there's nothing like ripped in it or anything. So
nope, it's all original, and that's why we're not using it. So, but that's an awesome piece to your collection, and that will send you down so many fucking rabbit holes, and you'll eventually get like you'll find out who it will belong to.
Probably.
You'll eventually find that out after the film's done and you got more time.
Yep.
You'll find out who that belonged to, and you'll be like, "Holy shit!"
Maybe he's still alive.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Or maybe he was shot in the Aleutian Islands. Who knows?
Or shot in that mass execution that they claim happened.
Say,
fair.
Who the hell is Grigowski? Yeah, find out who that is. So, you know.
Yeah, right. He's a staff sergeant, obviously, but like, yeah, it's.
I thought when I first saw this on online, I thought maybe this was like a sticker, like just a decal that was put on here. But this staff sergeant is actually painted on here. It's stenciled. It's when you look at it, so it's not cheap. It's not like just a cheap sticker that was.
No,
it's actually
yeah. I saw that and I was like, yeah.
Same with these on the side here. So
yeah, no, that's why I said we're not using it because we don't want to destroy it.
So very interesting, very interesting.
Yeah, Michael's like, "Hey, I got this liner. Like, it'll be good." And I'm like, "Holy shit!" And I researched. Like, I was like, "That, yeah, okay."
Yeah,
like, we're not using that. you just type why, and then I just like lit you up with a litany of like, here's why.
Well, yeah, if you're gonna say something like that, I do want to know why. So I appreciate that.
That's pretty cool.
An amazing piece of your collection, though. Like seriously, it is.
It's really cool. Yeah,
it's amazing, and
you don't get too much Black history stuff, especially from the World Wars that's still around.
Yeah, Grigowski though, that doesn't really sound like a black name, so that's interesting.
Well, that's racist.
Well, no, like but a lot of black people had, you know, quote unquote white names, because they adopted them or whatever. Like, so yeah, you see black guys with, you know, because Jefferson was actually a very white name until
he, you know, banged like 80 of his slaves, and now they're everywhere.
Right. Yeah, that's why you see Jefferson and Washington as well.
Washington,
Washington, yep. And so that's actually not a good indicator. I'm not saying you do anything wrong, but like fucking, you know what I mean? Like it's historically, like it's just they can have any name.
I just wanted to be a little racist for a minute. That's why I
right. We all want to be a little bit racist.
You got to do it. It's allowed. So it's
we all want to be a little bit racist because
America has an image to uphold with the rest of the world.
We're so racist as these fucking. You're a fucking white male.
Yeah, that means I've won the genetic lottery. What else do you want?
Yeah.
There's gonna be somebody at YouTube reviewing this, like, oh, well, they're making jokes on them.
Well, hey, at least I'm admitting it. I'm not trying to be like, oh yeah, blah blah blah. You know, I've suffered as much as everyone else. At least I'm admitting, hell yeah, I'm a straight white male. I'm the like genetic lottery. How do we get this? How do I can't win any better. Like this is it.
God. So, it's so fucking funny. Like I view like the whole like the ethno-nats, like the fucking guys that are like, oh white, whatever. I view them as like funny. Like I don't even.
Yeah, and it's hilarious when they come up to you and stuff like that, and because there's 5 colleges in my town, 5. So there's a lot of that around here.
Yeah,
and people get uppity about you for it and just go, "Yeah, I guess I am pretty great," and then you're just like, they lose it. They lose it because you're
that's not the answer they want.
Offended or anything.
Yeah.
You just
that's right. I'm not white, actually. The National Association for the Advancement of Colored People labeled anyone with over 50% Slav DNA, 50% or greater, as colored now. So
well, I'm fucked. I'm fucked. I've only got fucking 40-something%.
Well, I'm exactly 50, which means I'm colored, technically.
Well,
now.
Okay, yeah. Jesus Christ. It's so fucking funny. Like, I just make fun of that shit because it's like, again, it's been said many times on these streams, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah. Well, you
If
know
I don't
what?
like you,
I'm just
if I don't
gonna
like
keep
you, I don't
being
like you.
white until Joe Biden wants to give me a casino. Then we'll call it. Then I'll
Right.
be
Then we'll start doing the SJW shit.
Yeah.
If
fair.
he can give us a casino.
Yeah,
right?
if he gives me a casino for being colored, I'm all about it. Or a tax break or something. Hell yeah.
And then I'll come on for being 1/16th, right?
Yeah, fair. What do you care? If I get a casino, you can just come in there all you want. I don't care.
No, I want to work there. I want to work there and reap the benefits. I don't want to gamble my money. I want to reap the benefits of other people.
There you go. That sounds good. Sure, why not? Everyone can come out.
We're not fucking around here, Devin. No.
That's right. If I get a casino, there's going to be some rules, and they're going to be pretty lax.
You guys are lucky bitches.
That's right.
Lucky bitches.
Yeah.
They're going to be pretty lax.
I ain't going to get any of that shit.
I am all in fucking Idaho.
I'm all German. Yeah, German and Dutch. That's me. That's what I'm made of.
Right, that's not something you want to be in Idaho. Idaho's got lots of Nazis. So like
apparently.
People are like, I'm a German from Idaho. It's like, well, where's your swastika armband? Oh, that's right. Yeah, you already. Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Apparently, this is a Nazi symbol.
I've got a bigger one. It's a longer one, so it's not a Nazi symbol.
He's
yeah. Now Mike's just a Christian, which is bad against a ton of other minorities coming in.
Right.
Yeah.
See, we're more progressive.
That's why I don't have any identifying body characteristics, because then, for one, I'm just that white dude on the police report after doing all the hate crimes, and for two,
so Devin, you're not tattooed in any way?
No, I don't have any piercings or tattoos, nothing at all. So.
Wow, you just got that one little metal thing around your wrist.
Yeah, this is my silver bangle. This is actually made to me by a girl in Finland. She sent this to me.
Ooh.
Yeah. Just some random internet person that liked my YouTube channel, and she sent it to me.
That's great.
I know, right?
Mm-hmm.
God, he's so cool.
It's about $30 in silver. That's all it is.
Oh, man. It would have been a real dick move if you didn't wear it.
I wear it all the time. I don't think I've taken it off in 3 years. I've had it all the time. So.
No, I just...
The real question, Devin, is have you pooped today?
Yes.
Excellent.
I had ice cream last night, so I got to the Target bathroom, which is my second stop, the Target in Monticello, and I went into the employee bathroom just after they cleaned it and absolutely destroyed that bathroom.
Avalanched it?
Destroyed it?
Yeah, because I'm lactose intolerant. I ate half a gallon of ice cream.
Oh, that's not good. That's not good.
Yeah. So I was like already really gassy and gurgly when we were like walking into the place. So I'm like, I got to stop at the bathroom.
Got the cold sweats going on.
Yeah.
You're white knuckling the fucking handlebars.
Yeah, it's one of the things you're like, hold it. Well, they only got it on the one side. So you got both hands on this side.
Oh,
Jesus. The ones where like I was unbuttoning like the buttons on the shirt, like unzipping the jacket. And I was like, that's one of the ones where you're just praying for Willy Wonka to shut down the chocolate factory, but he won't.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not good.
That's that explosiveness.
Yeah, it was pretty bad, but
Jesus, man.
Clean out the
old. Worked that all out though. I didn't wreck it up too bad, but I really hope nobody went in there because like the lactose intolerant like gas that you get is heinous.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. Here's the problem that I have. Like when I go and destroy a toilet like that, like if I have to shit, like our story of the flying
the truck
J
stop
thing.
Yeah.
So I had to shit. I painted the back and it stuck. Right. It stuck to the back of the toilet, and even the water just couldn't scrape it off.
Couldn't get the shit skid off. Yeah.
It was there.
Ooh, the skid mark. Ish.
Not the skid
I didn't
mark.
leave any marks or anything, but like the dairy farm scent.
No, Devin, you're under fucking stating this. It wasn't a skid mark. It was a clot of shit on the toilet bowl wall.
Just an island in a.
Yes. And no matter how many times you flush, you have to scrape it off.
They'd have to go in there with a pressure sprayer to get that off. Is what you're saying? Yeah.
It's not good. Like it's like that whole experience. Like when
Mike said his catchphrase. Check that off on your bingo card.
Okay, fine.
Not good.
Yeah, but like no, but like when we stopped there, I still will never forget that, Michael, because it was like so random, and I'm like, hey, this is where I grew up. You know, this is new, but like, hey, let's go in there. It was just like the worst thing ever.
It was like, oh, so this is what happens in every public place, huh?
God, like it's just so fucked up. And then the timing of the janitor coming in there and like having his rant, like, God damn it, what the fuck is every fucking time? Every fucking time. And
well,
then
and I
had to
remember,
go there and,
I remembered
God.
was what I mean, because I just walked in. I'm like, all right, let's get this over with. And then as you always feel like when you're in a bathroom, a public bathroom,
Public bathroom, yeah, especially one where there's a ton of people and very high traffic.
right? Yeah, like all right, just get this over.
Well,
Then I walk in.
then
like,
I was like laughing
All right.
hysterically and trying to like talk to Michael. I was like, so
you're,
this
you're like,
fucking-
look in there, and I'm like, what? And I'm just
Yeah,
like,
look at-
oh.
oh, he's like, oh my God.
No,
And then he laughed even harder. And then I go over like to wash my hands, and like the janitor is right there, and I'm like, hey man. And he just goes, hey man. Like he knows I'm just making fun of the whole thing. He's gonna God, and it was so fucking funny. Like I was like, I had to like leave. I washed my hands. I left the place as soon as possible. I like pushed people out of my way to like get out of there. And then Michael comes like, he's like, what was so funny? And I'm like, well, I was like crying, laughing for like 20 minutes driving on I-94.
He couldn't,
like,
he couldn't tell me. It was one of those things where right when he was getting to the punchline, he'd just like break down.
He would just start laughing again. Yeah.
Well, I was driving at like 70 miles an hour, like crying, and I'm like, this isn't safe. This isn't safe.
Yeah.
Like,
well, it was great because like it was like, okay, cool, we can stop here. But then like what started the whole thing was we're behind a semi truck that like started to tip over, and it was like, like, should we go here? This is an interesting way to start this.
Yeah, I was like, and I said my catchphrase. I'm like, oh, that's not good.
Yeah,
I was like,
that's not good.
And and then we go in there, we park, and then it was just, and getting out of there was a bitch too because it was so busy. It was like, I'm like, let's just fucking go before I have to shit again. Like, because I had to shit. Like that was like, I couldn't hold it. It was like I had to shit, pull over.
Yeah.
And oh my God, that was fucking fun. God, that was funny.
It was some good shit.
When you guys go into like when you walk into a situation like that where you just have to like go, but it's like a high traffic public bathroom, do you try your best to like conceal it, or you just like let it buck, like let everyone know that you're
no, here's the thing is like, okay, so going over this again. I went in there first. Michael was like moseying around the fucking store part of it for a bit. And I was like, this is an emergency. I go in there. All the stalls except for 2 are filled. And I'm like, God damn it. Here we go. And so I go into that first stall, and it was just completely full of shit and toilet paper. Like completely like over the top, over the seat. I'm like, God, really? And so I looked at the next one, and it was there's piss all over it and like fucking whatever, but it was like, it was stained, it was gross. But
you still gave it your all though, right? Because it was a public bathroom, right?
Well, I had to.
Yeah, I'm under the impression of like when you walk into a high traffic public bathroom, everyone's like, I don't want anyone to know. I'm like, oh no, this is a competition now.
No, so I'll get there. I'll get there in a second.
You walk in there and you square up to that toilet and you try to just
Dude, I'll get there in a second. So I'm like, God damn it. Okay, well, this one's the least filthy out of the 2 that are open. And so I go in there, slam the door shut, fucking hit the latch, and I wiped off the seat as best I could. I actually, for the first time in my life, used one of those like fucking seat covers.
The paper seat cover.
And it didn't work because
it's like as thin as a fucking, like a
tissue. It's
literally
tissue. Well, I was almost done when my ass hit the seat. I was almost like, it was starting. And so I sat down, and it was just no. So to answer your question, no, I didn't give a fuck how loud it was, how bad it smelled. Whatever. I was just like, this has to happen.
You can have in a public bathroom where you're just like, it's go time.
Well, and there was a layer. There was a very defined layer of piss on the floor. So I'm trying to hold up. Because I was like,
you're trying to like lift your legs up while you're taking a shit.
Yeah, and so I held the gym shorts up to like my knees as I'm like bleeding out of my ass, fucking shitting, And I'm like, okay. And then I just was like, well, this is going to be a while. So I grabbed my phone. I grabbed my phone, and I started fucking around on my phone, playing games and whatever. And at this time, like, my ass is just like,
Yeah,
cheeks just slapping, like it's not good, it's just whatever. And I'm like, okay, now I have to wipe. This is going to be a process.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well,
now.
another round coming. And then as that round was coming, that's when that janitor came in here. And I hear the rant, the epic rant.
He was not happy.
And as I was laughing, like I was trying to stifle the laughter because I didn't want to piss him off. I was like laughing, and then it helped the shit move faster out of my body.
Yeah, the flexing your diaphragm from laughing, just
Right. And so I'm sitting there, and it's like, okay, there's shit coming. Okay, good thing I didn't start wiping because it would have been for nothing.
Yeah.
And so, bam, it's all out. I feel a little bit better, and then there was a copious amount of paperwork that was done. A copious amount of paperwork. Because it was like wiping a fucking marker. It was like wiping a marker. It just wouldn't.
Yeah, it just doesn't stop. I hate that so much.
Right. And finally I got it to where it was like acceptable. And I'm like, well, I'll be home in a couple hours. I can take a shower. We're good.
Yeah.
And then, that's the whole thing with like, I came out and like Michael was just coming in. When I was coming out of the stall, he was just coming in. And I'm like, hey, bud.
What were you doing the whole time this was going on?
What was I doing?
Yeah.
He's in the store.
I was in the store, like looking for stuff. I think I don't know.
What were you gonna buy?
Probably snacks or something.
Cigarettes.
Yeah, exactly. You know me well. But I think cheese puffs was what I was getting most of the time we were on the road. Man. Yeah.
Did you hear that the planters came back with their cheese puffs?
No, I did not hear that.
They're back. The planters cheese puffs are back.
One of my friends who's listening to this just texted me, I'm trying to eat right now while we're
Well, you know what? He can shut it off whenever he wants.
It's a she.
Yeah.
Oh, she can shut it off whenever she wants.
Yeah.
No, she's good.
If she doesn't want to hear shit stories, she shouldn't be listening. That's
she
one
said,
of the 3 boxes every stream has to check.
She asked me, she's like, does every shite have to be about pooping and all this? And I'm just like,
it's in the title.
It happens.
It's literally in the title. Friday Night Shite. It's shit.
It's in the title.
So how many times have we actually done this where there's not a shit story? That would be something to research.
It happens.
I don't think Michael's been on one where there hasn't been a shit story.
Because I think like nearly every time, like we've talked about this same story like 2 other times.
Yeah, we talk about the truck stop shit
once.
story. We talk about Culver's.
Yeah.
They have one in Boise now.
Which is good. Actually, I have a story about Culver's too, because now I bring all the bread into Culver's. My company does that, I guess. I've got one that's really clean, and I have one that I will never eat at again.
Yeah, it's not good.
No, I watched a guy with a dustpan move the fryer, and probably the first time in 20 years, and just scoop up a congealed ball of grease and dirt and mold in a dustpan.
What was it on?
A cake of it. Probably 10 pounds of grease.
Just on the floor?
Yeah.
Okay. They make burgers and fries. I don't, expect anything else.
I mean, they're cooking everything hot enough, but like I go into 2 of them, and because there's 4 fast food restaurants I go into, and 2 of them are Culver's, and the other Culver's is immaculate. Great. The floor's not slippery with grease like the one is, and one of them's really nice, and the other one is a dumpster fire.
Yeah,
it goes sometimes.
Yeah, I get it.
Getting back to shitting for a minute.
Getting back to shitting. Yep, and people trying to eat while we're talking about shitting.
It's funny. Earlier this week, I was having a meeting with my producers and for Reveille, of course, which is coming up, and one of them was talking about, listen, we need to have portable toilets if some of these locations that we're at don't have facilities, and stuff like that.
Nobody knows how to dig a latrine. Nobody's had to dig a latrine before.
This is just for like the crew and all that. The cast can do what they want.
They can't shit in a hole either. What's wrong with that?
Well, that's one thing that one of my producers mentioned. They said, well, we could just have them shit out there. And one of my producers, who is a female, she's like, okay, some of the females aren't exactly as disgusting as you guys are. Okay.
All right, fine. You can put your mask on before you go over there.
Here's the thing, though. We're filming on a lot of private property, and also I don't want to be, shitting on private property.
So we'll fill the hole in for what? It's fertilizer. It's fine.
Well, we'll make it happen. But either way,
Yeah.
just let you know that conversation did come up, and I was kind of like,
renting a porta-john. It's probably easy. You probably just have to make a phone call, and
Right.
some guy will drop one off. Yeah.
Yep.
Those things are.
I'd
so
almost
cool,
rather
too.
shit in the woods than shit in a porta-john, though. To be honest.
Well,
Same here. That's why I found that's why I found it ironic when we were talking about it. I'm like, you said, because I don't know, shitting in the woods and all that. It's like I think those things are probably a million times more disgusting than just shitting in the woods.
A porta-john is literally just a germ petri dish. I would rather shit in the woods. So, and then besides, if you shit,
you
in
also,
the woods,
Devin,
you're scaring predators away because you're putting your scent everywhere.
Right. You also haven't snow capped a porta shitter, so
I haven't done that.
What is that? What does that mean?
You're opening a whole can of worms.
Well, here's the thing.
No, okay, never mind.
If we lose connection, it's because of this. So if they decided to nix the stream. So when I was in Florida, we were training to go to Iraq, and there were male-female porta shitters.
Oh, Golden's already starting. No. You've told it before, but
yes.
no.
I don't think Michael's heard this. I don't think he has.
I don't think Michael's heard it either, but
No.
yeah.
So there was a row of porta shitters out between like 3 giant circus tents of like people, right? So male, female, didn't matter. And so they got full very quick. Okay.
Right.
And I remember I went
and
one
it's hot
morning.
in Florida, by the way, in case you want to know. If you want to try to imagine a smell of a fermenting,
Well, it was northern
humidity,
Florida.
100-degree porta-john.
Northern Florida, still not good. And but anyway, so I went out there one morning, took a shit, and the one porta john that was open, I opened it up. I went in there, whatever, and I looked into the main hole, and I was like, "Oh my god!" So it was a pile of shit and turds, and on top of that was a freshly used tampon that was on the very top, like just very top.
Just the cherry on top of the fudge.
Poetic.
Exactly. And so I was like, well, I'm going to snap one off and then take a shit. And so I didn't do that in that order per se. I took a shit first and then I snapped one off.
Okay.
But I snow capped the mountain.
Okay, so that's what that means.
Yeah.
I snow capped it.
It's pretty easy to put 2 and 2 together, Michael. Like, come on now. I'm surprised you didn't instantly go there.
Yeah, my brain doesn't immediately go from
I suppose that's right. You haven't ever been in a debaucherous pit of a bunch of other dudes and military members where anything goes as long as nobody witnesses it.
When I worked for the military, they did have like holes dug out there with a thing that over it that you go in there. It was just a hole. But I didn't see that.
Yeah, the snow capping was like I was sitting there going, what do I do? Do I bail now because I have to poop?
You want to make that a short movie? Oh, the snow cap.
Well, here's the thing: is a lot of veterans
running down Mike's face, and then just suddenly,
lot of veterans from Iraq and Afghanistan would be like, "Yeah, man, I did that at 140 degrees."
Yeah,
this is like 20 degrees.
I can't say I haven't done that. So.
Okay, you just snow cap these things, and I mean it is what it is.
Well, I'm glad I know what that means now, honestly. So so now I can.
Now you got something to try to check off your bucket list.
Well, there might be. I mean, who knows? There might be something like that when we're shooting Reveille out there. So who knows?
But the way the tampon was, I think it was placed on top of the poop pile. Because
it was literally to be a cherry on top. Like, yeah.
It was like a French chef had a sick sense of humor and was like, this is going to make it so much more appealing. Like, it was placed so perfectly on top of this mound of shit and piss and diarrhea and whatever the hell else. And it was like, well, we'll get it done.
Yeah. We'll get it done. I just imagine it's throw it in there and just goes like, just like sticks on top,
Oh yeah, it doesn't move.
Yeah,
it just got enough stick to it to where
yeah,
it's
got some adhesive.
So yeah, I definitely have that under my belt. I've got shitting in a porta shitter in Kuwait that was 140 fucking degrees plus inside with this bag of potpourri that they put in there to make it smell better. It's like, well, it's not good, man. Like.
Yeah, it's never good. It's just shit and then flowers.
Right. And you're like, so they go, my nose is burning and it doesn't smell any better. It just smells different, you know?
Yeah. Well, then that's like the bad thing is like that reminds me of like in high school how the locker room would just smell like Axe body spray.
Yeah.
It's eventually like, why do you even spray that on? It's not even a good smell. You just associate it with fucking locker rooms, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like that. It's like, why even put an air freshener in here? It's not gonna do it. It's just gonna make it its own like fucking weird smell that stays with your brain, you know?
Did you ever have those like piss pipes, Mike?
Yeah. Where you piss in
I remember
the pipe. Yeah.
singeing myself on one of those because it had got so hot in the sun and you accidentally touch it. And
well, my dick isn't that long, so I didn't have that problem.
Well, because they're all like waist height, and normally you stand a little back, but in this case there was.
You're also pretty short.
So
you're also
really
pretty
wanted
short.
to like choke up on it, you know.
You're also pretty short, so like that's.
Yeah, I am kind of shorter. Yeah, and I was trying to choke up on it, and because there was two ladies coming in. It's always there's like 10 piss pipes in the middle, and then around it is porta johns, making like a wall so nobody sees you pee, you know, or whatever. And then you just go in there whenever anyone has to use the bathroom. And I remember because I heard two ladies come in, so I choked up on this pipe that had just been in the sun now for quite a long time.
So a piss pipe. So it's just a pipe coming out of the ground.
It's like literally a hole that they just stick pipes in at like a 45-degree angle.
Oh, okay.
And it just goes into the ground.
Oh, okay. So it's
it's
like
a piss pipe. Yeah,
like a drain field.
If you're a dude and you're just peeing, then you don't need to take up. For one, you're not just pissing around the base, and for two, you're not taking up a porta john. Then porta johns are for shit. So for women, and so there's two women coming, and I was peeing, and so I was like, well, I'm gonna choke up on this and try to be a gentleman, and you singe yourself on the hot steel pipe that has been in the sun all day.
Or you just stop pissing until they go into the porta john.
I had to go, Mike. All right, I had to go.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't stopping. All right.
You also burned your fucking cock, so I mean, there's that.
I wouldn't say burned, but it was definitely uncomfortably hot.
Did it shrivel up?
No.
Okay.
But it was definitely like uncomfortably hot. Touching the side, the edge of that pipe, it was warm. So.
Cool.
Yeah. I don't need any sexual harassment suits against me until I become a politician. So
there you go.
I'm really surprised this stream hasn't been zapped. It's fun.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Well, we haven't talked about anything egregiously bad. Like we haven't talked about COVID yet or anything like that. So I mean, that's all that YouTube cares about right now is COVID.
Yeah.
And firearms.
Well, I got a couple guns right over here. We can.
We can really test how long it'll take to pull.
Yeah, I'll start working the action on them and dry firing them at the camera.
Yeah, bam, bam. You could just say it's a toy, and then it's all right, I guess.
Yeah, well, I do have a replica over here, but it looks real as hell.
No, they'll pull it.
Yeah.
It's a gun. We don't know.
But if it's very like clearly a toy, I guess it's okay.
I mean, you could hit someone in the head with it and it'd kill them, but you know.
I mean, you could hit someone in the head with a frying pan. And
that's what I'm saying, though. It's like I guess if it shoots something, that's all that matters.
Doesn't even need to shoot anybody. You can stab somebody in the throat with a Ticonderoga #2 pencil and they die.
Yeah, right. And they're literally there's somebody on the stream going, just do it, with their finger just twitching.
Yeah, just waiting. Like they already did the trifecta. They mentioned black people. They talked about shitting. They talked about genitalia.
Well, speaking of, you just mentioned stabbing people. What's this knife I see you playing with like a supervillain?
That one?
Yeah. What's that?
Mike might know what it is.
No.
You don't know what it is? It is a model of 1917 Dutch assault knife that they never used in World War I.
Who gives a fuck about
They used it in World War II, though. God. It's nice.
Well, they used it in World War II for like 2 weeks if they actually fought.
The 2 weeks, yeah.
Jesus.
And the funny thing of the story is it's more associated with the Germans because the Germans really liked these, so they took a bunch of them when they took over the Netherlands. So
Jesus Christ.
yeah.
I like that handle on that wood. That's cool.
Yeah, it's just beech wood, and it's really well balanced actually because of that swell. So even if I move my hand quite regularly, it stays pretty well balanced.
Yeah,
so.
and Dev is an expert knife fighter too, by the way.
Really?
No.
Not
Show us some moves.
No. But I can throw a knife pretty good. Mike's seen that, but that's about it.
Go ahead, stick it right in your wall behind you. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
What?
Well, I could probably fill it back. There's been a couple things that have caught some bayonets, a couple walls that have caught some bayonets when I just hand something to people and they're like, wow, and they go, ka-tonk.
Yeah. Take a little plaster.
Yep. That's easy enough to fix, though.
Yep.
No, it's a pretty cool knife for what it is. So
very cool.
It's called the Sturmdolch.
What's that last word mean?
Dirk.
Dirk. Okay.
It's just a long knife. It's a 9-inch blade. So
Sturmdolch.
Yeah, the Sturmdolch. Yeah, Mike said it
Dutch,
very correct.
Like
yeah,
the
very
voice
Dutch.
quite a bit. Yes.
The Sturmdolch. Yeah, it's the model of 1917. So it's a.
Yeah, because they were so involved in the First World War, like that's very relevant.
Well, they watched it real heavily, to be fair. So they were very worried about Germany invading them.
Yeah, but they didn't, and they were like, "We are not going to take a side because we're Dutch.
We're Dutch.
We don't do that sort of thing." Yeah.
Right.
I have an interesting photo I found actually while we were off stream last time. I was after we had finished, but I wanted to show it to you guys.
Let's do it. Because I can hang out for like 15 more minutes. Let's do it.
Okay.
Do it. Cunt.
Don't be a cunt.
Don't be a cunt.
Oh, Johnson, yeah.
The Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, these guys are first special service force because they're wearing paratrooper boots.
Yep, paratrooper boots, and one of the grenades is yellow. You can see that.
Yep, you can see that. And this is what year?
1944, January.
Yeah, okay.
Just cool. Two men out there in the field playing with their Johnson.
Yep. Nice big old Johnson.
That's right.
But how come, like, because that's an American machine gun, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it was designed by. So Johnson was a guy that actually was a huge inspiration for Eugene Stoner. Actually, Eugene Stoner based the AR off of Johnson's design. The multi-lug rotating bolt is a Johnson design, and he actually mentored under Johnson. Johnson was a Marine Corps colonel during World War II, and he was an arms designer, and he actually came up with a replacement for the M1 Garand, but obviously it was too late. They had already adopted and made millions of them, and the war was kicking off. And then he developed the Johnson light machine gun too, which was better than the BAR in a lot of ways. Just like his M1 Garand variant, the Johnson rifle was better than the M1 Garand in a lot of ways. But with the war going on, it was decided to not change, manufacturing lines and stuff like that. But in the first Special Service Force and Marine Raiders and other special service branches and stuff like that needed guns, but not necessarily easily identifiable American guns, Johnson basically came to the rescue with his designs. So.
Okay, because that's what I was going to ask, because I've seen pictures of like Marines with these things.
Yep,
and,
Marine Raiders, and First Special Service Force, a lot of Johnsons, and they loved them. They loved them, and they had BARs and stuff too, and they talked about how they would rather take a Johnson over an M1 Garand.
Well, it looks a hell of a lot lighter.
Machine gun over
it was lighter. Yep, it was a lot lighter than the BAR.
Tons lighter. Yeah.
And that's the bipod right there for it.
It's still a lot of problems, like most firearms at that time did.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But it didn't outweigh the problems of the BAR, for like that purpose.
One of the best parts, one of the big credits that the Johnson light machine gun got over the BAR was it had steel magazines and not aluminum magazines.
Right.
Oh.
Right.
Aluminum BAR magazines dented so easy, and then they wouldn't feed right, or they would jam up and stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas the steel, for one, the Johnson had a larger magazine, and it had a steel magazine, so it held up better and fed more reliably.
Huh. Okay. Question: Is this shirt that he has on right here? Is this a Canadian thing or an American thing? I've never seen.
That's a 43 pattern sweater. That's all it is. It's a woolly pulley.
What country?
No, America and Canada made them both.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
And the British also had a similar design, actually. So
yeah, I didn't know that.
No,
so
it's
cool.
it's the 43 pattern woolly pulley.
Okay.
It's because it's a wool pullover. So
yeah, the text that I found said this is at Anzio.
Yeah. So the First Special Service Force fought heavily at Anzio.
Yep.
Like they cut their teeth hard there. They get their asses kicked. That's what the history books won't write that, but like they get their asses kicked.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But they inflicted so many casualties that it was insane, and there's no way to know that. But like their attrition rate was just insane.
Mm-hmm.
So, but like
something that not a lot of people know.
No, and that's I mean, Devin knows about that unit quite a bit more than I do, which is fine. Mm-hmm. But like I knew that immediately. Like they were in the paratrooper boots, like the actual would become the M48 combat boots, and would influence our combat boots even today.
Yes, that's if you want to know the specific model of that sweater, that is the U.S. standard issue World War II high neck infantry sweater. So he's just got the neck rolled down. So
right, and because even though these guys might have been Canadian or one American, one Canadian, or both American, they're gonna wear American stuff.
Yeah, well, the Canadians that went to go train to be part of the Special Service Force, which they actually made up over 50% of it, because they were the only troops at that point that had combat experience.
Yep.
Which was great, because initially it was decided that Britain was going to make the Special Service Force. They couldn't afford it, really, at the time.
Right, the Canadians could. Yep.
Yeah, and, well, the Americans could. The Canadians couldn't. But the Americans could, but they had no combat experience, and Canada had veterans with combat experience.
Well, also they did their training in Montana, which is very close.
Really
so
close
logistics
to the
wasn't
border.
that bad.
Yep, it was very easy logistically to get both countries there, and they relied very heavily on a lot of training. But they got all American equipment, all American uniforms.
Yep,
and everything like that. So Canadians would have trained with American gear and uniforms. So
yep. And they were trained by, correct me if I'm wrong, mostly American officers.
Mostly American officers.
Yeah.
So, but they also had some, like, a very diverse thing of officers. They actually had a Chinese officer. They had a couple of guys from World War I that fought for Austria-Hungary. They had quite a few different officers there from a bunch of different nations to get a bunch of training. Especially about where they were expected to be sent, which was Italy. So
yep. And I mean, like when I say that they got their asses kicked, I don't mean that in like they just got destroyed. It
was a hard fight on both sides.
Man, they inflicted so many casualties. That
if you look at where they fought too, like it was kind of like how you see like the World War I fights. A lot of it is almost sheer vertical.
Yep. And that's what they were trained for.
The first Special Service Force went into World War II. It's like spending a whole day scaling a vertical cliff to only realize there's another cliff or another mountain to scale.
Yep. And that was their training, and they were very good at this. And, you know, they kicked ass. Like, they really kicked ass. And, like, that was one of those units that the Germans were actually afraid of. They were like, we don't want to fight these guys.
To this day, actually, the Canadian Special Forces still uses that red arrow
patch,
with the USA Canada on it. They inherited it after World War II. Because the United States decided to come out with their own stuff.
Right, and it branched out, but like it's the Germans, like I've read a couple of accounts that they were like, we did not want to go up against these guys. These guys were fucking fight to the death. And they were like, we didn't get like why they were still fighting when they were. Like they should have just given up. Or
once most of them die, they're still going.
Right.
Where regular troops would surrender, they didn't.
Right, and they were like, Jesus, these guys they inflict so many fucking casualties.
And they kept finding them in places where they're like, people can't be here. There's no fucking logical way for people to be here to be shooting at us. And they kept ending up there. So
Yeah, and then when these guys were in a defensive position, like the Germans were like, "We're fucked. Like we're not going to win. Like we have to bomb the or artillery. You know,
Yeah, we have to artillery the shit out of them to win,
and we still might not win, but like we'll try. But you know, these guys were psychos, basically.
Absolutely,
they were extremely
psychos.
physically
That was
fit.
something they looked for. So
right, extremely physically fit, very aggressive. It's basically like the Sturmtruppen in the First World War with Germans. People don't know a lot about this, but like those guys were actually selected based on their personal traits, not their military
mental conditioning and stuff like that.
Right.
They wanted
mental
people who were very aggressive, type A personalities.
Right. Very aggressive, very competitive, very just very physically fit, very small. Not small like, emaciated, but like, quick moving.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of like, so these guys were the equivalent of like the Sturmtruppen in the First World War with the Germans, but they had more technology and more diverse training of moving farther distances and like, okay, here's a defensive position, here's an ambush, here's what you're set up, and like it was more like on the move. The Sturmtruppen,
they got better training, better equipment, and they had the physical and mental ability to go further than you could if you just had the same training in the equipment.
Well, and they were also trained really, really heavily in hand-to-hand combat.
Mm-hmm. They got a whole extra special knife about it, even.
Right, the Fairbairn Sykes knife, yeah. And
no, that's British.
No, they were actually issued those.
Yeah, I know. They got their own cool special knife, the V42.
Which is
a stiletto based off the Fairbairn Sykes knife.
Right. So same idea, but like they were trained in like very close orders to be very aggressive and just pop, pop, pop. Here's how you actually kill somebody, not just hurt them. And it's like, you want to silence the guy so he doesn't scream? Here's what you do. Bam. And it was like so quick, and they were trained, and they actually trained on each other with live blades. No covering.
Yeah.
Like it was really hardcore. Again, this is what you were saying is like, this is the precursor to the special forces groups in both Canada and the United States.
Almost everything except for the SAS is based off of this.
Right, because the SAS is more based off of the OSS
in World War II.
Yeah, OS and the commandos and the OSS.
Yeah.
But like it's these guys were like the special forces.
Yeah, the Green Berets, the Navy SEALs, everybody in the world is based off of this. This is the grandfather of almost every modern special forces.
But they were also fighting at like a company level, a platoon level, which is weird. Which is like modern special forces. People are like, oh, they're so elite. Yeah, but they operate like so.
They operate.
Here's how I break it down. Is like
for these guys operating at a company is a lot.
Right. So nowadays, the equivalent is nowadays, infantry is like company / battalion level operations. Okay.
Yeah.
Rangers are very platoon oriented. Okay. And special forces are very squad or team oriented, right? You got your team, 12 guys, 8 to 12 guys. And it's a matter of like operating with less guys to do a mission that's very different from the infantry guys, right? These guys did all the above. Like if a squad was going to be tasked out to be like, hey, there's 2 German MGs up there, and tonight the squad is going to go out and take them out.
Yep.
So we can move tomorrow.
And there's that whole series that you sent me the link to, Mike, to watch, which I don't know if you've seen it, Michael, but you
yeah.
They sent like modern special forces guys and like infantry guys in there, and they washed out like that.
Yeah, they couldn't do it.
So
yeah, these guys are fucking hardcore.
Yeah.
Sorry to like get long-winded about this, Michael, but like this group gets little to no attention as far as World War II.
Right.
At all. And they were some of the most hardcore fucking guys that operated in the ETO.
Right. No, Well, I'm glad it's something that needs to be talked about. So, I mean, I'm glad that you are. So, yeah, I just thought it was an interesting photo. Again, yeah, because
and you don't see a lot of pictures of that woolly pulley. So, like, come on now.
Yeah, that either. Yeah.
So yeah, that's really cool. Like, I didn't know
you guys
what that
didn't
was.
know about the high neck infantry sweater?
Nope, I didn't. Nope.
They're cool. Actually, if you guys should get some, if they make like repros of them, they're really nice.
Cool.
I'll consider it, Devin.
Yeah, the high neck infantry sweater.
But no, these guys are like the predecessors to like today's military.
Right.
You know, and the Johnson, they used a lot of U.S. weapons like the Thompson.
Yep, they had a lot of Thompson, a lot of M1 carbines, a lot of
M1 rifles, and but I don't think I've ever seen a picture of a First Special Services Force with a BAR. Like they all carry Johnsons.
Well, yeah, they like the Johnson a lot, but it's in documents that they had BARs.
Sure, but I've never seen a picture.
No,
well, you don't exist.
See a lot of pictures of them, anyways, that are of good quality. So
right, that's very true, and this is a great picture. Like, it's fantastic. Like these really guys, you didn't want to go up against these guys in combat. Like, just put it that way. Like,
very interesting. I have another photo here that's kind of interesting. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah, there it is.
That's a movie. That's not real.
This is from the set of To Hell and Back. That's Audie Murphy in the center.
Oh yeah, he doesn't look like him. Like, he's got a weird look on his face, like in the angle.
Right. So I'm guessing like because these are all the extras playing Germans, and I'm guessing he's like maybe doing some kind of like sand table with them, telling them like what they're doing for the scene or something.
The Germans are carrying M1s.
They're all carrying M1 Garands. Yeah.
And I like all their World War I Stahlhelms.
Yep.
No, those are plastic. Those are plastic replicas, dude. Those aren't fucking Stahlhelms.
Still, they're not even close to the German World War II.
The size of the swastika.
Yeah,
look at the size of the fucking breast eagle. It's like fucking terrible.
What kind of knife is he holding in his hand?
Let's see. I don't know. It's got a hook on it.
It's an S-8498. That's a fucking. I'm sorry. That's a Yeah, it's an S-8498. The butcher blade.
Yeah, the butcher blade. That's what I thought.
Was that around at the time in World War II?
Yeah, it was around in World War I, so it better be.
Okay, I don't know.
There would have been reserve units. There would have been reserve units.
I still would have had those, because I don't know if you know, Michael, every German bayonet, from the Dreise onto the K98 will fit the same bayonet.
Yep.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. They kept the bayonet attachment the same for like 100 years.
Okay. So, Mike and/or Devin, do you have any like clue on what they used to make these tunics?
Potato sacks? Flour sacks, maybe?
Yeah.
Go to a different one.
They're all kind of bunched together, so they're hard to see.
They obviously didn't get the colors very consistent. That guy in the background, look at how dark his pants are compared to his tunic.
Yeah, well then, like this guy doesn't even have an eagle on his right here. He also has that canvas leather, canvas sling, as opposed to the leather
He's
one.
Got an M1 sling, and so he's also got Officer Litzen on his collar.
Yep,
which is fun.
Giant.
I know why they did that. It was to make
make it easily identifiable.
Explode like it was German shit, you know.
Yeah.
No, the tunics I actually don't know.
Yeah, that's because I mean it's just weird looking. You know, it clearly wasn't a I don't know if it was a repro or they might have just made them based on photos that they had.
Probably both.
Yeah, who knows?
Probably both.
But it's fun shit.
That is pretty funny.
It's funny though. This is we were just looking at a photo from Anzio. This scene right here that they're filming is the Anzio scene in the movie. So
what kind of boots does Audio have on?
It look like paratrooper boots to me.
Yep.
In the movie, no one ever is seen wearing leggings. They're all wearing paratrooper boots.
Yeah, I'll have to actually watch that. just for shits and giggles. I'll have to rewatch
For
that.
funsies.
Oh, it's fun, all right. It's
So the only real thing in that might be sort of kind of accurate is that knife.
yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
Well, the M1s are pretty accurate too. Like
Not for the Germans.
You would be carrying a lot of those, Devin. We've seen a lot of photographic evidence and
That's fair.
documented evidence like they
Yeah.
all
The Germans
with
did
the
wear
web
a lot
slings.
of World War I helmets with M1s. Yeah, I get it.
So he's got a fairly correct M1 that I can see on. His shirt is fine. Pants are fine.
Yep.
And it's odd. Like, yeah, the U.S. shit, they had so much of that shit.
They had so much of it left over at that time that there's no way they could have.
But his chevrons are very newly sewn on. You can see the seams.
Yeah, we can see the seams in his shirt too. But
that's what I mean. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, then also all the very nice pressed creases.
Right, but another thing to point out that is during the whole movie that like they're wearing the green, like their webbing is green. It's not that like tan khaki
right.
color.
Oh, right, so it's the 43 pattern, the 07 webbing.
Which would have been in late 43. It would have been just starting to be sent over.
Yeah, you would have started to see it basically start reaching the front at the beginning of 44.
Well, about April of 44.
Yeah,
that's when you start seeing it. Yeah.
So this is what Murphy looks like basically in the movie. Decal on the side of his helmet right here.
If that's Anzio, that's fine.
No, this right here, I think this scene is supposed to be Sicily.
Nice web sling.
yeah, the canvas one.
Yep.
Or whatever it's made of.
And paratrooper boots. Yep.
Paratrooper boots.
Well, those would have been at that point that had actually been 48 pattern combat boots.
Okay.
So
they wouldn't have been called just paratrooper boots.
Yeah, they were modeled after that, but that was a standard infantry boot, and then
you see that a lot in the Korean War. So
okay. Now, something a little nice here is that his M1 has the lock bar on it.
Yep. That's cool.
Yeah. So that's something that we're striving for in our movie that I think nearly all other war movies don't get right.
Right. And for you 34 people that are watching, we're going to also be featuring for the German side a Gewehr 41.
Yes.
What?
Yeah.
What? That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, it's going to be shooting too on camera.
The Walther.
All right.
Yep. And so
not the Mauser. God dang it! You didn't even get the rare one. I'm upset. I'm just kidding.
Well, hey, nobody gives a fuck how upset you are because you're gonna get shot with the fucking G41.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, you do get shot with that.
That would be an honor to be shot by a Gewehr 41. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, you're gonna be toast. So
I'm fine with that.
Oh, there's the big reveal. Devin's gonna have a part in the film. Oh shit.
We've already said that.
Well, I mean, how many people fucking watch this shit though?
34 apparently.
35 now.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we're gonna actually be one of 3 known films
to have a Gewehr 41 in it.
Yeah, and actually use it. We're gonna be shooting it
live. We're gonna do it live.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
We're not gonna be shooting live at you, but we will be shooting live ammo.
Well, I mean, Devin wouldn't give a shit. He'd be like, I get my immersion.
They haven't got me yet.
But no, we're gonna be definitely shooting that G41, and they were there in Italy. They were there on the Eastern Front. They were there in Italy. They were there, not so much on the Western Front at this point because Normandy hadn't opened up. But they were like, well, let's send all this shit. And the Germans, by and large, did not like the G41 that much.
No, it was very expensive and it was very finicky.
And if you see my video that I shot, fucking 7 years ago now, of me shooting one, yeah, it's got some problems. Like after 100 rounds, it starts
coming up
really malfunctioning. Yep.
Well, that's back when they were still gas traps and stuff, weren't they? So they had some.
Yeah, it was gas trap. Yep.
Yeah.
There was a big cone on the end of the fucking
holes drilled in the barrel.
Yeah, and Brian hasn't shot it yet.
Really?
Yeah, Brian's had it forever, but he hasn't shot it yet. So it's like, I'm like, well,
I kind of want to shoot it real bad. I hope he's nice enough to let me shoot it. It'd be great.
Well, if you're down there and we're out at the range doing sound captures, well, yeah.
Yeah, we can all shoot it.
I want to shoot it.
Everybody that wants to can shoot it. So, got
Fair.
plenty of ammunition. by the way.
Those kids are gonna love it.
Yeah, and then like the actors, it's funny because like a lot of the actors are gonna be shooting like class 3 shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it'll be fun.
How long into the movie before Michael starts getting hate mail about people not knowing what kind of gun that is?
What?
Yeah. How long before somebody's been like, that's not a real German gun from World War II? You know, how long before that happens?
Oh, how long? When he releases it and it's all good, I'd say about
45 seconds. I give 45 whole seconds.
I'll give it 5 minutes. I'll give it 5 minutes.
Yeah, all right. Like somebody's gonna be like, that's not a German gun. That's a weird looking G43.
Actually,
yeah. That's not a Mauser.
So,
right. Oh my god, yeah. But like,
I'm just saying, it's going to happen. I'm just saying. So.
Well, they're gonna be like, that guy at the beginning didn't fall correctly. If you get shot, you're just gonna like face plant, like.
Because you know how to die. Right.
right. It's like you're just gonna face plant and like probably hurt yourself, and that's not how you do it. Oh, really? It's not. It's not. Okay,
you know,
fine.
I've never seen someone die in person. But I have watched a lot of in terms of getting like stuff right for art and all that stuff. I have watched footage of people getting shot in real life, you know, and no one ever acts the way that they do in the movies when they get shot.
No.
Depending on where you get shot, either tense up and just slump over, or you just slump over.
Right. Well, some people I've seen it to where like, yeah, they'll kind of fall over like slowly because they're kind of like still kind of conscious that they're like
they're hit, but their body's still registering.
Right, but like other times I've seen it
move so quick.
Right, but like other times I've seen it to where someone will get shot and they fall like a sack of concrete, you know, and it's like their head hits the ground and you know that like they just
unless you're dead instantly, that's not going to happen. Like if you get shot, somebody's going to
guys too. Oh. There's a third category is some guys when they'll get hit. They're so jacked up on adrenaline. When they get hit, they jump up.
Right.
Yeah. They jump. Like I said, they tense. They get all. Yeah. They get.
Yeah, and they jump, and then it's smacked down to the fucking ground.
Yeah.
But they jump up, and so it's kind of within the second. But the second category is like a lot of guys just tense and then just fall.
Yep.
Some guys
slump over. Yep.
Right. Some guys will actually literally jump, like they're trying to like run, but their body's like. It's not going to work right now, bud.
Yeah.
And they'll jump and then, bam, they're down.
Right.
But most guys that get shot that I've seen, like in videos and stuff, is they get shot and they just crumple.
Yeah. Well, for one, even if you're not that severely hurt, the second a shot goes down, everybody's down.
Yep.
Right.
But for one, even if you are shot, like if you're going to die, you're falling over. But if you're not, if you're just winged, even you're falling over because you want to be on the ground.
Right, and it's kind of like so. Band of Brothers actually did this fairly decent. Like when the guys are running and they get hit, they just boom, they're down.
Yeah,
they have the momentum of running, but they're down and they like tumble and kind of like whatever. They're down, like they don't move. They don't.
You want to be down, unless you don't see like concrete though, unless you're dead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, yeah. If you get like a headshot on somebody, it's just the body crumples.
Yeah. There was this footage once, the stock footage from Iwo Jima that I saw where someone was hit, like they were on this ridge sort of thing. And it went up, you know, it was like a hill. And then there were guys kind of on top and a guy got shot and he tensed up and you reeled back. As you rolled back, he started rolling down the hill and like his head was smashing into rocks and stuff like that. And when he hit the ground, he landed like on his head and his head just like was completely sideways. And it's just like, it's so like you'd never see anything like that in a movie, you know, in terms of someone dying. It was just so brutal.
I mean, we could try, but I like how my face is arranged.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just like it's one thing like to get shot, you know, like he got shot and he fell, but like he got shot and then he just because he's dead, he doesn't have any control, and his body is just like breaking as he's falling. You know,
well, his spine got probably hit, and then he just had no control. He was still alive, but like,
all his muscles kicked, and then
with Devin, like your
character, hard, and then you fall.
Yeah, your character in the film, like he gets shot by multiple rifles at the same time.
Same time.
And it's like, okay, and then you're just gonna crumple. Like
I'm just gonna, since we're not gonna be walking so fast, it probably won't be forward, but it'll be just down.
Just crumple. You just crumple.
And you relax everything in whatever way you lay. So,
here's how I want it. Here, because like your character, you're carrying 2 ammo cans, 2 cans in your hand. Not like this, but you have 2 ammo cans in your hands, like down by your side. And when you get hit, right. When you get hit, those are heavy. Those are just gonna weigh you. So like when you die, I want you to just go forward.
Just go down with the ammo cans.
Yeah, just like that. Like they just drag you down basically, and you just face first.
That. I can relax and just pass out. That's great.
Good.
Great.
Good.
And I'll be really awake for filming too, because if I keep having this used to the same sleep schedule, by the time you go to shoot it, I will have been up for 6 hours already.
No, you'll be rigged up with squibs and shit.
Squibs, oh great, that could be sticky too.
Yeah, so, but you won't have it won't be like explosions of blood. It'll be more like compressed air powder and stuff like that.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can get it in like the first take. Like it'll be fine.
Probably. Yeah.
Like I think you'll be able to just. Down.
I think it's going to be pretty easy to just relax. It'll just be like the second you hear the shots, you just, all the squibs go off and then you just relax. That's all I'm doing. So it's pretty easy.
When the first one hits you, that's when you're going to react. It's like, so even like when you're going down, the squibs are going to still be going off.
Going off, yeah.
Because you're still getting hit.
I can do that. Seems easy enough. Seems like I'll have a pretty good cue.
Yeah. Then you have to lay there for the rest of the scene.
That's all right. I could do that. I could take a nap.
Okay.
Oh yeah, you can take a dirt nap.
Take a dirt nap. Yep. I can do that.
But yeah, so yeah, that's very interesting too. Like war movies, like
they don't get a lot of. Nobody gets dying right because not a lot of actors have actually died.
No, none that can replicate it.
Right. But yeah, that'll be very interesting to like see, because I think like especially when the Germans get hit, that'll be really cool, because I mean not cool, but you know what I mean. Like it's to watch them like react differently.
Yep.
Like Baron is just gonna get hit and fall forward, and then because everybody's like, oh well, it's the inertia, the force is gonna push it back. No, it doesn't work like that.
No, it doesn't. Bullets don't work like that.
No. It's he was leaning forward. His body is now crippled. It's in shock immediately. He's gonna lean and fall wherever he was leaning before.
Yeah, the inertia of him walking forward or leaning forward is going to be more than the bullet hitting him.
Correct.
Yeah,
and it'll just be like fuck. He'll eat shit on his helmet, and then Artur, we're still like, you think he falls back, but we'll figure it out when we're on set, like which would be best. And then the other kid, that gets hit, he falls backwards because he's kind of like not in a good stance, and then that happens and he just gets caught off balance and he falls back. It doesn't know what the hell's going on. That's the thing too, is like, yeah, people don't really know when they're shot all the time. Like,
well, very few people realize they're shot until somebody either tells them they are, or you see a lot of blood.
That's what.
Or you can't fucking move. Like you can't move.
That's what happened.
You might not notice. You might just be like, "Well, my legs don't work."
Yeah, that's what happened to the actor who's playing Leo, because he was in Afghanistan. That's what he told me when someone had to tell him, "You've been hit." Like he didn't even notice it.
Yeah, it's Atackakakakerman, by the way. And
okay.
Yeah, that's what I was always referred to it as.
Yeah, it's not Afghanistan. Yep. It's Atackakakakerman.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. It's a joke, Michael. Like
I know it's a joke.
It's a serious thing.
But it's also because it smells. All right.
Yeah.
Well, literally, like when I was in basic, even before any of us have
it's been Atackakakakerman for 2 decades. Like,
yep. Yeah. Hey, when you go to Atackakakakerman, here's how it's gonna fucking be.
And then Mike's like, "Jokes on you! I went to Iraq."
Yeah, exactly. Like, very much easier to pronounce.
Yeah, that's right. Atackakakakerman.
But yeah. He said he didn't know he didn't know he did not know that he was hit until somebody pointed it out. That's how it is when you get that adrenaline too. It's like, you're like, and somebody goes, "Oh shit, you're bleeding," and you go, "What?" And then you look down, and then it's like, "Oh shit!"
Then it all hits you. It all sinks in.
Fuck.
Your brain registers it finally, and
Yeah, crazy.
But, yeah, so I mean, it's very realistic to the film, like, because the kid, he doesn't know. He's trying to grab for his rifle. He's trying to get back up, but he can't physically.
Trying to fight because that's what he's trained to do.
Right?
Yeah,
And then
he falls down. Yeah, and that's when he's like, "Wait a minute!"
You gotta always fall back on your training, and unfortunately, as harsh and terrible as military training is, it's something that even today I would probably fall back onto in a very quick routine. It's something that they ingrain into you pretty well. So that basically, no matter what is happening, you fall back onto default training, and they tell you if you follow your training, you'll get out of this probably okay, and usually that's the case. So
yeah, very true.
Gotta have it. Gotta have all that good training.
Great training. Nice hair, Devon. Fucking
Thanks. Some dog just barked. I had to look.
You had to look and see if he was there.
No, like real aggressive bark outside. Oh. So that's probably just some dog mauling a kid. I live in a bad neighborhood. It's probably fine. So
you love it when
not my pig, not my farm. You know what? You should have put that kid on a leash if you didn't want him to get mauled by a dog. All right, like so.
What, pit bulls ain't aggressive, motherfucker?
Right. You know what? I don't want to deal with any dog. All right. To be fair, if it's aggressive, no. I don't care if it's a Chihuahua or a Saint Bernard. I don't give a shit.
Dude, when I was a kid, I got bit through the ass cheek by a Doberman.
Yeah.
Right? Not in the ass cheek, through the ass cheek by a Doberman.
Yeah, that's no
I
fun.
love Dobermans. I fucking have one that's kind of half Doberman.
No, you have a weasel horse.
Yeah. He's, man.
Being a shit. Now?
He's something special. I'll tell you that much. Not really in a great way. Like,
he's half horse and half dog. That's amazing.
He's not even half dog, dude. He's a weasel and a horse. Like, he doesn't protect us. He doesn't fucking bark when there's somebody coming into the driveway.
No, he barked real good that one time he threw himself into that barbed wire fence.
What?
Well, no, he yelped. Oh, you didn't hear about that, Michael?
No.
That was one of my, like, oh god, I felt so fucking bad about this. Like, so it was like 2020, so it was 2 years ago, almost now. We were at my neighbor's house, and on my neighbor's border of his property on the whatever side, there's a cattle ranch. Okay. And so they have barbed wire and they have an electric fence running there. So Cuddy Cuds decides that, we had him over there, we were shooting guns, it was fun and whatever, and Sophie was over there and everybody was over there, and great time. We were throwing tomahawks and throwing knives. It was great. And all of a sudden we hear like this fucking blood-curdling yelp.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, what the fuck? And Cody comes running over to me and he looks at me and then he just runs back to the house. And I'm like, well, that's not like him. Like, very weird. And so I go back to the house. I let him inside. I'm like, oh, he probably got zapped by the electric fence. He probably got zapped. And so I just let him in, went back over. We continued on and had fun. And the next morning, I go in to feed him, and he's licking his leg really hard. And I'm like, what are you doing?
Right.
And then he looks up at me, and I look at his leg, and there's a flap of skin hanging down.
Oh.
And his muscle is exposed.
Oh.
But yeah, so I went, oh my god, fuck. Oh, okay. And I'm like, okay, all right.
I mean, if he was gonna die, he would have done it by now, Mike.
No, but I felt so bad. I'm like, I know this happened 12 hours ago. I know this happened.
Yeah,
he's
like, probably in so much pain.
Fuck.
Well, he should have.
And so I called the vet. I'm like, yeah, my dog's got a. Well, right. And so what we think is like he was probably like fucking around, like to get through the fence a little bit, and then got caught on the barbed wire fence, and then panicked and like tried to jerk away and like tore that open. But the whole front of his leg was torn open. And it was hanging down. Like it was sizably big. Yeah, and so I'm like, I called the vet. I'm like, my dog has a laceration, like it's pretty big, and I it's been 12 hours because it happened yesterday. I just didn't see it. Okay, bring him in. Brought him in. Okay, they sewed him up. It was like $400 fucking, which is fun.
Yeah.
To put in
but like, they did it and it healed up in like 2 weeks.
Could have done that.
He was fine.
Mike. Come on now.
Right. Put him under. Yeah. This thing doesn't let me touch his fucking.
Just start stitching.
No, this thing doesn't let me touch his fucking nails to trim them.
That's fair.
So how the fuck am I going to stitch him up? It's not good.
Sit on him.
Well, that's going to make him freak out more. Like this fucking dog. It's not a dog. It's a weasel horse. Okay.
That's fair.
It's not a dog. Like we've established this. You've met him. He's not a dog. He just looks like a dog, but like he's a weasel horse. And so, I mean, that got done, and then he came back, and he had the cone of shame on for a week.
Those fucking things. Oh,
yeah.
Well, otherwise, we'd be lifting it all the time.
Yeah.
Right. But no, that was fucking. It was kind of funny because he was like backing into everywhere he went, and like running into. Like, oh, come in here! I'm like, well, that's kind of cool.
There was one time where there's one time where I was driving through my neighborhood and I just saw a cat running across the street with one of those cones on its head.
Yeah. I mean, they work. They
do. The cone of shame.
The cone of shame. Yeah. The cone of shame.
All right.
You're going to take off.
To be heading out. I got to try to get a couple hours of sleep in here.
That's the I gotta leave. All right.
That's the That's the all right. All right.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost a Matthew McConaughey, but not quite.
Michael, are you on for another hour, or what are you doing?
I'll do another like half hour.
Perfect. All right. Well, take it easy, guys.
Later, fucker.
Bye. We can see if Brian.
Yeah, because we're up to 39 viewers. Like, I mean, my God, we're hitting a fucking. I think the record was like 80 something.
Oh, nice. We could try.
You were on here for that. Like, I'm pretty sure you were on here for that. Like, it was like unusually like high rating, or like people watching.
Probably. I think you were on celebrity.
Here for that. Yeah, celebrity. Shit, I should piss Brian off and message Henry.
Just message Brian right now. I said, "Do you want to jump on Shite with us?"
Right. I'll message Henry. It's late notice.
Who's Henry?
Oh, hold on. He's the guy from the other YouTube channel, 9 Hole Reviews. He does a lot of really good like distance shooting with old rifles or modern rifles. And that was one that I think you were on for that, like where maybe it was Devon, where like Brian came on the stream and then Henry showed up. And Brian was like, because he's like a fanboy, and so was his friend Nathan, the guy you do the podcast with. And like, what the fuck? And I'm like, yeah, I just met him. He reached out to me, like, we're good to go. And Matt, I mean, I can text Matt too, like, or I can, here, let me text Matt.
Yeah, Brian might be out getting wasted.
Wasted.
That's what I thought happened after New Year's when he wasn't answering my messages.
No, he got very sick. So
yeah, that's what he told me. But for it was like right after New Year's, I was like, "Did you get so fucking like hammered on New Year's that you've been comatose?" He's like, "No, I got so fucking sick, I've been comatose."
Yeah, he's like me. He's very sensitive to like gluten, and like if you have something fried in gluten, like oil. Like it'll get in there and then it'll like fuck you up.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, it's not fun. It's annoying as fuck because it's like, okay, now I'm one of those people, but it's like, I always made fun of those people, and it's like, well, I guess karma's a bitch.
Well, that's true, but like you can still laugh at it,
Well, I can still definitely laugh at it. It's like my ass cannot fucking handle fucking wheat, barley, or rye. Like, it just can't. I just can't do it. It's like I fucking love all three of those things, but
yeah, I remember when we were in the hotel that one time I went and got chicken tenders. I was like, "You want some?" And you're like, "I can't."
Oh, I wanted them. You're goddamn
Yeah.
right, but it's like it's not worth me, pissing out of my ass for 10 hours straight with the cramps and like the white knuckle diarrhea going on. It's but no, I want those, and then you were like, oh shit, I get it now. Like you even refuse chicken tenders, and I'm like, yes,
it's that serious.
right. What's on the hanger behind me? Oh, fun story.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, just tried to burp and verped. Come on, baby.
You didn't burp, or you did?
No, I verped.
Oh, okay, I see.
Oh, but I caught it. So it wasn't a complete burp.
Good.
So this is one of the characters' tunics that I aged with the advice of another advisor, 10% bleach, 90% water, to get it to look like an actual like Africa core / just tropical tunic that was used in Italy. And so this is going to be the character Avald, which you guys will definitely watch him wearing this because he's the only one with the look for this. So in the film, he's got NCO Schulterklappe or shoulder boards and no tressa. So he's got no like trim around his collar, which means he's newly promoted. And you'll see him. He was a guy that was through North Africa as a private, lance corporal and a corporal, and then just recently got promoted. And then he's got his wound badge here. Jesus, I'm not a weatherman. He's a wound badge here, infantry assault badge, Iron Cross, 2nd class, and he'll be wearing this. And he's also, when you see this guy, when you see the actor, you're gonna be like, Jesus Christ, that guy looks mean.
Yeah, he
like,
does. Yeah,
he really does look. He just looks fucking mean, but he's the nicest guy in the world. Like realistically,
he is. Yeah, Chris. Yeah,
yeah, Chris. He's like, so he's playing Avald, who is a guy that we can't get over the backstory beforehand. Like, he was a guy that just grew up in Germany before the Nazis took over, and then he was a kid, kind of, or teenager growing up, and then he was a tap dancer, and he was like an artist, and he was trying to not get drafted and whatever, and paid the local police to not get drafted, and then that kind of expired, and they're like, well, it's looking bad, you got to go.
Yeah.
And so this guy is like an artist that got drafted. He ended up being in the infantry in the Panzer Grenadiers, and then fought through North Africa, the whole fucking shebang, and then he's now in Italy. Gets wounded, he's now in Italy, and so that's his tunic. We were showing that to the people, but like it was the color that I wanted to get right, like this nice mustard color that these things would actually, they were issued in green, like olive drab, and then they would bleach to this color, and it's like we couldn't figure out how to do it. And then Doug Strong, the other advisor, who's a fucking amazing guy, good reenactor and very knowledgeable, he's like, here's what I do. So I did that, and then the bleach thing worked.
Looks great. Yeah, it's just that's the look I wanted, because when we got him, the tunics, I was like, that's cool and all, but I want them to have that desert sun bleached look,
Yes, exactly. Yep.
And Brander will be the same way.
Correct. Yep. And because those guys are like the old guys.
Right.
Those are like the old school guys, the old guard that made it through that, and they're just fucking worn out. Like they're just done, both of them. And but Avald is a younger guy, Brander's an older guy, so like naturally the older guy is going to be like more worn out. But like Avald's just mentally worn out, and he's just kind of, but he's still. You'll see in the film, like there's still some humanity left in him.
Yeah, he's not he's the guy though who he orders the. He's the one who orders the shooting that kills Devon. So,
right. Yeah.
He's the one who's responsible for killing Devon in the movie.
He's also a very tall dude and very intimidating.
I've told you the story many times, Mike. But when I first met him was at I met him in person, was at the official auditions for the movie in Los Angeles, and Mike and the Germans, they were on not live stream. They were on a chat like this while we were doing it. And when I met Christopher, who's playing this guy, we were kind of late opening the facility. The people there were a little late, so I was going around trying to explain to everyone what's going on. And I looked over at him, and I'm just like, God, I have to tell this guy, that this shit's gonna. And like he looked so pissed. He was just like just the way he looked. And I walked up, I'm like, hey man, sorry about this. We're gonna be opening up here pretty soon. We'll get everyone out of the hallway. And he's like, oh, it's fine. It's perfectly okay. You know, but like he just looked like he was gonna rip someone's head off. He's just an
Right, but like
intense looking guy.
we've talked to him like a lot since then, and he's like the nicest. Like he's a very intelligent guy. He's like super nice and just
dancer. He's a dancer.
Yeah, he literally is a tap dancer in real life.
Yeah,
and he's an artist, and the greatest guy. But like when you guys see this film, you're gonna be like, oh my god, I would not want to come across this guy.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god, like this guy is fucking terrifying.
Yeah, that's
why Michael wrote some of the lines in there to like reflect the reaction of the Americans, which I love. I won't spoil that, but like it's like you see this guy, you're like, Jesus, out of every German that can possibly ambush us, this guy is it.
Yeah.
Oh my god, no.
The guy looks like you could break a baton over his face and he wouldn't flinch, you know.
Right, but he's pretty fair. You know, and that's a good thing. Brian didn't respond, of course.
No, he didn't. We could try to get Jorg on or something. The Rocklitzer.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. You're not feeling Jorg tonight?
Well, no, hold on. I'll Oh, my typing is not good right now. I'm just rushing it. But yeah, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go let the Weasel Horse do his thing for a bit.
Keep people entertained.
Oh, I fucking doubt that.
Man, I fuck you.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? But yeah, anyway, I'll be back in the few.
All right, go ahead. Okay, so someone just asked in the chat here, what do you think about the accuracy in patent, other than the stupid stuff like the tanks and the MAT 49s? Yeah, that's kind of usually the only thing people like to comment on that movie when it comes to that. I hear so many people talk about that with like old movies, like old war movies. Oh, they're so inaccurate. It's like, well, yeah, you know, they're old. People back then, they when it came to getting tanks and stuff like that, right? They, you know, the internet didn't exist, obviously, and, you know, books and stuff didn't exist. They hadn't done tons of research. It wasn't, you know, as exposed as it is today, you know, all of that stuff about German tanks and everything like that. So back then it was like, I got a tank. Okay, well then we'll just put tanks there, put, you know, Balkenkreuz on there, and it works. So, yeah, I really don't get too pissy about that when it comes to old movies, when it comes to vehicles being incorrect, because I understand as a filmmaker, I get it. It's really hard to get accurate, you know, vehicles and such. Even though, like, if it were me, I would go to the last, you know, depths of the earth to find the right thing before I would, you know, get an Abrams tank and put a Balkenkreuz on it or something. But yeah, I can understand why it was that way back then, you know, but today it's like those standards, you know, they're way too high. You can't continue to do that sort of thing. So I like the movie Patton though. I don't love it though. If I won't go into all kinds of details, but I think it's good. Although I don't know. I think it's I think that the way George C. Scott plays the character of Patton is interesting, although it doesn't necessarily reflect who the guy really was. Obviously a lot of stuff he believed is in there, but the way George C. Scott played him with his gruff voice and everything, it was like Patton didn't really sound like that, and he never wore all of his medals and shit like, you know, they show in the movie. So it's a good movie. You know, I like it. I think it's interesting, but it's definitely not one of my favorites. I was talking about The Big Red One. Ooh, that's a weird movie, The Big Red One. And Longest Day, yeah, it's a movie of its time. You know, it's the only D-Day movie I've ever really seen that actually like focuses on real people, though. I mean, Saving Private Ryan obviously isn't about real people. Yeah, so I mean, at least, you know, The Longest Day shows Norman Coda, guys like that. The movie The Battle of the Bulge is pretty damn funny. In fact, one of the last streams we did when we were looking at movie stills, we looked at Battle of the Bulge. Yeah, that's just one of those like 60s, 50s, 60s war movie. I think that one was 1965. That's just one of those that's just it's just an action film. There's really no point to it. It's just fun shoot 'em up bullshit, So people were talking about war movies and such, so I was commenting on them.
Oh, Jesus. they actually know what like strikes your nerve, which is good.
And no, yeah, absolutely. They were like, talk about Patton, talk about the Battle of the Bulge. I'm like, all right.
So what'd you say about Patton?
What I said was, I mean, someone asked about the accuracy of Patton without going into all of the technical stuff like the tanks and all that shit, because that's like low hanging fruit. I said that I think George C. Scott as Patton is good in the movie, although it doesn't reflect really who Patton really was necessarily. I mean, it does touch on the stuff that he really did like believe in, but like the way he plays him, like this gruff voice and everything, is he didn't sound like that.
I agree.
Yeah, and he never wore all his medals and shit. So,
well, all those medals, I'm like, where? So the beginning scene, like, I'm wondering where the fuck does that take place?
It's in front of America, obviously. It's in front of the American.
Yeah, but he's saying like he's talking like the war is still on. It's like, well, okay.
And I think it's I think it was just done for theatrics. I don't think.
Oh, I'm aware. Yeah, I'm aware. But like, it's like, yeah, well, and then, but yeah, like the thing that you and I've talked about that before. It's like, George Patton like had a very high pitched, kind of annoying voice.
Yeah, I've heard audio of him talking.
Yep, a very high pitched voice. Mm-hmm. And George C. Scott, great actor, by the way.
Yeah,
fantastic actor. It just he got a lot of his mannerisms from what I've seen correct, and like the way he was kind of doing things, but like, yeah, the voice was not the same.
No, definitely. No, yeah. I mean, and that was like a thing. Yeah, you got to make him this gruff guy. I get it, but
sure.
Yeah, it's like whatever. But talking about like if you're gonna, because a lot of people are mentioning 60s war movies in here. Patton being, I guess, technically one of them. It came out in 1970, but I think the best of the best in terms of like that time period has to be The Great Escape.
Correct, and that's one that. So for the winery, probably in the future, I would like to do that, and I would also like to do more research on exactly
on the actual thing. Yeah,
right. Because here's the thing: is like I don't want to do films that I don't know about, because I can just be like, well, that gear is wrong, that this is wrong, whatever. Like the gear for this time, whatever is wrong. That's easy. That's low hanging fruit. It's fun. And I'll still do it. I'll still definitely do it. But it's like I want a challenge. Like I want something to be like, okay, so this is when this took place historically, and here's what actually went down, and blah blah. I want to know the context behind it. So the winery is not just good for the viewers and you and me. It's good for everyone.
No, I agree. One thing because I have done a little bit of research about the actual Great Escape, and obviously for the movie, a lot of the people are based on real people, but the names are all changed, which is common.
Yes,
and,
correct.
Yeah, and one thing though about it is that the actual location where that was at, I think it's called Stalag Luft 17 or something. But I have to look it up. It was in what is today Poland, but
Poland,
but in the movie, like they shot it in Bavaria. You can tell, like it's very southernish.
It's very far away from where the camp actually was.
Right, but like they clearly wanted it to like the country to look very German, so like they have all these Bavarian farm hills and such, and these kind of quaint little towns and such like that, where it's like in reality.
Was it not in Silesia, like the kind of eastern south in I'm sorry, the southwestern part of Poland? Was that not in Silesia?
I thought it was like northeast. Let me look it up.
Oh, yeah, please do, because
Now that we're talking about it, I just know that in reality, because the actual escape, it took place over like it took years for them to make those tunnels.
Yeah,
and
sure. Yep.
A lot of the time, it was like frozen. They were like freezing their asses off.
Yes, because they're only like 4 feet below ground. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it freezes about 10 feet below in colder climates like this.
Right.
But if they were in Bavaria, that would not be the case. But if they were in northern Poland, yeah, it would be the case.
Okay, so let's see here. The actual camp was called Stalag Luft 3. I think 17 is a movie. I got that mixed up.
Yep.
The camp was established in March 1942 near the town of Zagan in Lower Silesia in Germany, now Zagnon, Poland.
Yeah, so Silesia is, it's actually very central. So
okay, all right, so not too much.
But there actually is a very weird temperature change if you were to say like northern Poland versus Silesia. Silesia is a very contested part. It's like Alsace-Lorraine is with the French. Silesia is with Poland.
Okay.
With the Germans. Like it's been fought over, conquered, and then back and forth. So yeah, it wasn't Silesia. So their actual like escape would have been in Saxony,
right, which is like eastern kind of
where Jorg hails from.
Right,
he was born and raised there, and so yeah, it's we actually have to have Jorg on there for to
talk about that. Yeah, Jake Brown's been sending me stuff as we've been
sending me stuff too, and I can't read this fast enough to like.
Right, yeah, sorry, man. I see what you're sending me. I just haven't had time to look at it in detail. But so yeah, it is. But like, I do know that the real actual escape, like there was a lot of snow, like during these winters and such. And
sure, yeah. And there is snow in Central Europe, like there is in Silesia and like down to Czechoslovakia, which is about the same level as Czechoslovakia, right? So it's like the same level, southern Germany and all that stuff. There is snow, and it was. Jesus, yeah, that would have been a bitch. Because if they can track, like, be like, oh fuck, there are tracks out there.
Yeah.
When they wake up in the morning.
Yeah, if you got snow, you're fucked. If you're gonna run on that.
Well, that's why like a lot of crime up here where I'm at declines in the winter. Because
people can track so easy in the snow.
Yep, you can track, and it's fucking freezing. It's so right now it's let me just get the temperature really quick. Oh, right now it's 3 degrees. Okay, cool. We got a heat wave going on here. Because most of the day it's been negative 22. So it's been a bitch today. But like, and what's weird is like this year it's fun. 1 week it'll be like in the negatives, like a shitty winter, and then the next week is supposed to be like 40 degrees.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's like, what the shit, So, but
it warmed up around here. It warmed up around here. It's like 20 degrees here.
Nice. What's it at now?
What's that right now? Let me look here. It's at 30 degrees.
Oh, it's chilly.
Yeah.
For sure. It's definitely chilly.
Yeah. I can walk out there with a sweater on.
Yeah, I just walked out and it's 2 degrees, and I just walked out there in PJ pants and a t-shirt.
That's fun.
No, I'm also like, dude, I grew up with this shit. Like, when you come out here, you're gonna be like, oh, this is cold. But then we're gonna teach you how to like deal with it. Like you'll be like, by the time you like leave, you'll be like, oh, this isn't that bad. Even after 3 days, you'll be like, okay, I get it.
Yeah, you want me to jump in a frozen lake?
If we can.
Okay, yeah.
Well, I'm gonna do it with you, and so is Devin. Like, it's not like you're gonna be doing it. Like, we'll all do it together.
We're all gonna be popsicles together.
But hey, 32 degrees is a lot warmer than fucking -10.
Yeah, that's true. That is very true.
Yeah, no, it's a cool thing. Like, if we can do that, like, my neighbor, he's like, well, I have a fucking chainsaw. We can just go on the lake here. I'm like, cool. You just cut the fucking ice out and, get the tongs and like pick it up and move it, and then we jump in.
But as long as it doesn't break.
Yeah, we'll be no the ice, dude. It's gonna be like it's probably like this year. It's probably already like 9 or 10 inches thick.
Oh, okay. So you get it with a sledgehammer and it wouldn't break.
You could hit it with you could drive a fucking semi on that bitch and it wouldn't break.
Well, perfect then.
Seriously, like 10 inches thick. Yeah.
Sorry, no, go ahead.
No, I'm lagging a bit.
Brian's just messaged me, said, yo, just sat down for dinner, may be able to jump on in a bit. I shouldn't read what he says out loud.
Yeah, there you
go. He might jump on.
Yeah, okay. And then I've texted both Henry and Matt. Here, let me go on Discord really quick. And
Discord.
Message Matt. You still don't have Discord?
No, I have Discord.
Oh, shit.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I never use it, though.
That's fun. Come on. Load. JSAS. This fucking app is this program is so fucking slow.
That's why I don't use it.
All right. Let me. Well, I can't do that. I'm gonna just message him. I was gonna mute my mic. Oh, his shit. Yes. I sent Matt a very, very nicely worded message on Discord. So don't worry about it.
I'm sure you did. Someone wrote in there Clint Beastwood in the chat. I'm guessing referring to his war movies that he's made. I like a couple of them, and then some I really don't like.
Elaborate.
All right. In terms of recent time, I really did not like American Sniper. That
correct.
Did you even see that?
I did. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I saw it.
Yeah, that was one I really didn't care for, and trying to think, he hasn't come out with really any other ones, but yeah, I was like, this is the guy who made Flags of Our Fathers and Letters from Iwo Jima. I can't believe he made this.
Yeah, it's just Bart.
Oh.
I told you that. I'll bring him.
Oh, the cigars.
What do you think?
What, cigars? Yeah, you can bring cigars.
No, well, like having Bolek smoking a cigar. Like, again, the Germans, they got him sent from the home front a lot in both World Wars.
Yeah.
And he's smoking one.
Yeah, I mean,
not on patrol, of course, but like in the bivouac.
Yeah, no, I'm sure we can try that.
Okay.
I think it's fine. We should have Bart on here. Have Bart jump on.
Well, I'll ask Bart. Or do you want to ask Bart? Or I can ask Bart. I'm more.
You ask him. It's your stream.
I'm mean.
Someone mentioned Gran Torino. I fucking love Gran Torino.
Yeah, I love Gran Torino as well. I think that was a really, really fucking like. Yeah, I think it was the first time we were in Iowa. We were at the Grundy Center hotel, which is actually very nice. Like that hotel was very nice.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Yep, and for how small of a town it was. And they came on and you're like, well, I don't know, you like this, and I'm like, I fucking love this movie. So yeah, it's like, yeah, and because it's very like it's believable.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, until the end, but like you got to have a finale at the end.
Of course.
So, but I think the finale was like, well, that's not actually unbelievable.
No, I think it worked for what they were going for. I like that movie a lot. The reason why I was like, do you like this movie is because you're a tougher audience than me, I think, when it comes to movies. And so that's why I was anytime I like pass, I like present the movie like, do you like this movie? Yeah. I'm always kind of like wondering if what you are going to think of it.
Well, and the best question you've ever asked me, like when we were driving down, I think the second time to go to the reenactment might have been the first, I can't remember. But you asked me this, and it was a very resonant question: is what movies do you not like that are popular?
Oh yeah,
and like no, like you said, you've asked it to a lot of people, and they've had the same response, and I'm like, I loved that, and I gave you a few,
right? Yeah,
right,
mm-hmm.
And I gave you a few, and you're like, oh, okay, interesting, and it's like, yeah.
No, it's always okay. For people in the chat, what are some movies that are really that everyone seems to like, but you like some real popular movies that like everyone loves that movie. It's like universally loved, but you don't like it. Like just someone in the chat, throw them out there. No wrong answers.
Yeah, I mean it's a really good question because everybody focuses on like what's your favorite movies. It's like, well, I don't have any like
mm-hmm.
I don't have like a favorite movie, right? It's like, okay, what genre, what kind of emotional appeal, like that, then we can kind of narrow in. But like,
yeah,
movies that are popular with everybody that you just don't like.
Right. I mean, but that's the thing. Like, I've met a couple people, and they say like, Star Wars. They'll say that, and I know you like Star Wars a lot, so it's like I knew that one wasn't going to come. But I've had people come to so okay, we're already getting some right here. The Godfather, yes, The Godfather is really overrated. I agree with that.
Haven't actually seen it, to be honest with you. Okay,
well, I don't blame you for not seeing it. It's like 7 fucking hours long. Right. But let's see, American Pie that was a thing of the 90s. I think Superbad did that sort of thing way better. Someone doesn't like Star Trek.
I don't like Star Trek. I think Star Trek is retarded.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. Obviously someone put Ryan in there. Someone retracted their message. But no, there's my friend. The only time I've ever been like, because I don't care if someone has a different opinion when it comes to movies. I just want to know what it is because I think it's interesting.
Yeah.
But one that actually did kind of hurt me was one of my friends. When I asked him that question, he said Back to the Future, and I was like, "Oh my god, dude, are you serious?"
That's actually on my list.
Really, you don't like Back to the Future?
I think it's just like the shitty acting. It's so over the top cheesy, and like the idea of it's fine, it's cool, but like, okay. No.
Okay, it's okay to be wrong. It's okay to be
it's okay to be it's okay to be wrong. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's another one you could add to my list. What did I say? I said Watchmen, right?
Yeah, you did. Yeah, I remember that.
Watchmen is people are like, oh my god, I love that. I'm like, it's so goddamn boring and just fucking not.
Yeah, I have no desire to watch it. I've never seen it.
It's okay, that, and then what the fuck else did I say? I can't remember because, like, again, it's not a thing that I think about a lot, but like, it's yeah. Do you remember what I said?
I don't remember exactly. I'm trying to think because I've asked it to a lot of people. Let's see here. Someone put Citizen Kane in there. I can understand why people would say that because, like, that's usually considered the quote greatest film of all time. And when you give a movie that title, you've basically fucked it, you know?
Right. Because people go into it expecting.
Yeah. So don't ever do that to a movie. Someone said
I've also never seen Citizen Kane, so
okay. Well, yeah, it's I can understand why it has the accolades it does, but I don't like. It's an academic experience. I don't like it, as a movie per se.
Sure.
I get it. Like, I respect it, but like, yeah. Someone said Psycho is meh. Ooh, I like Psycho quite a bit. That's one I disagree with. Let's see here. The Avengers. I don't watch any of those. I don't even. I don't even consider those movies. Pretty much everything the Wachowskis have made after the first Matrix, I consider the Matrix one of those movies that I don't really care for that everyone seems to like.
I haven't finished it, so I can't say. But like, as far as what I've seen, it's really overrated.
Yeah, I've never understood why the Matrix was so. Why the Matrix was so fucking popular. It's so overrated.
So I should finish it probably, but like I made it about halfway or a little bit more than halfway through, and I was just like bored.
So you've never actually seen all of the Matrix?
No.
Okay.
But here's the thing: is like I got bored with it. I rarely get bored enough to like turn it off.
Right, just like fuck this. Yeah.
So that says something too. It's like. Eventually, I'll go and watch the whole fucking thing just to say I've seen it. But like,
right. Okay, so
yeah.
Go ahead. No, sorry, dude. Go ahead.
No, I was done.
Okay, so someone said the person who said that they think Psycho is overrated. They said they think Psycho is overblown. They think the movie Rope is much better, which is a film that Hitchcock did a number of years before Psycho. And I agree that Rope is very good. And now, if you want to talk about the best, not Psycho, the best Hitchcock movie, in my opinion, is Rear Window. I don't know. Have you seen that, Mike?
No.
Oh, it's so fucking good. It's so good. Yeah, Rope is really good, but yeah, I think the Rear Window is really good. If you haven't seen it, definitely watch it. Someone said Mad Max is okay, which I agree. I've never understood why Mad Max exists in the first place, why there's so many of them. Everyone seemed to like that movie, that Fury Road, when it came out. I just was like, I don't understand a single fucking thing that's going on. And
well, the original with Mel Gibson wasn't bad. Like, I hate guns. Like, I thought that was pretty funny, right? Like, because it was funny.
Okay, all right.
It was also a shitty movie.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I've never quite understood why people like that movie has like a legacy. It's just like a shitty movie from the 70s.
Out of the entire movie, I isolated that one line that I thought was funny and like entertaining.
Right.
And that's it. Like, not good.
But
it's also my opinion and my style. Like, so.
Ooh. Someone says I'm not a fan of Terminator. Well, that's where I really disagree. I love the Terminator.
That's the other one that I told you in the car.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And I was like, no, I don't get it. Like, it's fine, but like, it's not that great. Oh, yeah, you actually were like, really? Like, you looked at me. Yeah. So,
well, dude, I remember when we were in fucking Doug's place, Illinois. That night we were staying there. I turned on First Blood, the first Rambo movie.
Right.
Yeah, and you were like,
well, no, that was the third one, or like that was the whatever fucking after they had failed miserably.
I think maybe like the other one, one of the sequels came on afterwards, but I remember I turned on the very first one. Now, I love the first one. I think you were like making fun of it while I was watching it, though.
So. I wasn't making fun of it. I was just like, yeah, it's gay. Like, this wasn't the first one, though, guaranteed. Or no?
Okay.
Oh no, you're correct. It was the first one. You're correct. You're correct. They drew first one. Yep. So yeah, okay.
Because I like the first one a lot, and
then you fell asleep. Just throwing that out there.
I needed my beauty sleep.
But I also watched that, and so what are you gonna say?
No, I was just saying that like I love the First Blood movie, so I was like, do you not like the movie First Blood?
It was entertainment value. 8 out of 10. For my personal entertainment value, like we'd have to be in that situation, tired,
okay,
in a hotel room,
Yeah.
And then that's all it's on. That's worth watching.
Okay.
So about a 4 out of 10. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. So someone put Pulp Fiction in there. I do like Pulp Fiction, although I do agree it is overrated. Yeah.
I do like that too. I like
Yeah.
Pulp Fiction. But yeah, again, you have this cult around Quentin. Like, this is what he does.
Yeah.
He gets this fucking, like, weird, you know, intentionally weird kind of, like, film that's put out. And it's okay. It's not great, but it's not bad, but it's not good. But it's okay, right? It's just good. It's entertaining, which is what he's trying to sell to you.
Yeah.
Which I'm fine with. And it just gets worse and worse and worse and worse. Like, Pulp Fiction was cool because, like, here's the thing about Quentin is, like, he likes dialogue. He likes a lot of just kind of
he gets off to that
monotonous, just kind of like dialogue. But it's fine. But, like, here's the thing is, if I want to hear dialogue, I'll go hang out at a diner.
right.
I'll go hang out at a fucking store, listen to somebody bitch to the clerk about how this is marked 10% off, but it's really not, and whatever. It's like, unless it's really enticing, and his writing is okay, but it's not enthralling. It's not like I want to sit here and listen to this dialogue. It's like,
no, it's all like quirky shit that like he would say. You know, it doesn't sound like, you know, specific characters necessarily. You know,
right. And the only dialogue I think that I like out of all of his films that I've seen, which I've seen most of them, is I've seen Reservoir Dogs 2, so don't fucking crucify me for this, is the booth scene with Marcellus Wallace at the end of Pulp Fiction. I think that was a really good dialogue scene where he's sitting there.
You mean Samuel L. Jackson?
Yeah, Marcellus Wallace. Or no, Marcellus Wallace is the asshole that
Ving Rhames, yeah.
No, I'm pretty fucking far from okay. But yeah, so Samuel L. Jackson, right?
Yeah.
He's sitting there at the end and he's having an epiphany of like, is this worth it? Do I want to get out of this lifestyle? That's fine. That's cool. They see the gold and the fucking whatever. But then he has that speech and he has that kind of talk with this guy that's robbing the place, right?
Yep.
I think that was good dialogue. I think that was like, because it meant something. It was like, it was very, that guy had to listen to every fucking word this guy was saying or he's going to die.
Yep. That's the best scene in the movie, in my opinion, is the diner scene.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So I'm not wrong.
No, I love that scene. I wish the movie was more like about the Jules character, honestly. You know,
Jules.
Jules. Yeah.
Jules. Yep, Jules.
I like that part a lot, and the everything that leads up to that. You know, where they're trying to get rid of the dead body and all that stuff. You know, it's really good.
At that point, John Travolta's dead.
Yeah,
it's like his partner's dead. It's like he doesn't know that, but like he doesn't give a fuck because he's done. But like the way he talks to him is like, that's the kind of dialogue I want to. It's dialogue. It's just you're sitting there talking. He's not yelling. He's not screaming.
Right.
It's not stressful. But he's just talking, and he's also kind of going through his own. He's unpacking his own mental shit that needs to be unpacked onto this guy who's like now terrified.
Yeah.
You know, he was the one like inflicting terror, but now this guy's fucking terrified.
Yeah.
And but it's like that's kind of dialogue I like to hear. If it drones on for a half hour, I don't care. That's good.
Yeah, well, that it's warranted in that scene because like the tension is so high. You know, it's and just the slightest thing could happen. You know, at any minute. But no, it's a really good philosophical scene to where, you know, he's trying to this whole thing, his whole life, where he's basically used this, you know, Bible verse to you know, be like a fun kind of punchline to kill people. Now he's trying to understand why exactly he's done that his whole life, you know, and it's really
right.
Really
he's trying to understand as well as projecting it onto this guy who he's not scared of. He's familiar with these kind of guys, but like,
yeah,
that's why I love that, because it's like there's so much of this kind of God, what the hell, this no, that's not the right word. That's not the right word. It's I don't know. I want to get this wrong, but like there's so much of a character development with him, and there's no character development with this guy that's fucking robbing the place.
Yeah.
But
No.
it starts transferring, and I don't know how to like convey that in words. Like I don't know how to convey that. It's a transferring of like thoughts via just talking, and
Right,
that's what I think a dialogue is, right?
Yeah. Influencing
And
the characters,
right, because
building
you can
their
tell,
arcs.
right, you can tell this guy's he's very nervous at first. He sits down, and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna get killed," and then he just goes, "No, I'm just gonna talk to you for a bit.
Right, yeah.
If you move the wrong way, you will get killed. But like,
Yeah.
just listen to me."
That's what he tells
And
his girlfriend, yeah.
yep, yep. And it's like, okay, he's sitting there, and he's kind of like projecting, and like he's projecting some of that bad shit from his character through and to this guy.
Yep.
And I thought that was really cool. Like, do that, yeah.
I think that scene could stand alone as its own short film. Honestly.
Right, and so that's very interesting. That like we actually, you and I have never talked about Pulp Fiction before.
No, we haven't, but I've seen it a lot. And so I
right,
know every part of it.
For us to come to the same conclusion, like that scene is like our favorite scene. Interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting, but great minds think alike.
Great minds. Jesus Christ.
Let's see. Everyone's put another. Now that I threw that out there, everyone's throwing in different things that they don't like.
David's here, yeah. My esteemed fucking hillbilly neighbor is here. What's up, fellas? They're all like, David is here. Prepare the stick and the stream. They all know him now. You'll meet David too when you're out here. You'll meet Dave.
Okay, cool.
We're going to shoot some pistols and shit, or rifles if the weather allows. But yeah, Dave's he's a piece of shit. Let's be honest. But like, he's my neighbor, so
I can imagine. But someone wrote in here, Michael, have you seen Overlord? No, I did not go see Overlord because I have no interest in that.
Shit, did I see that? I don't think so.
It's I don't know. It looked kind of like Wolfenstein to me. That's all. That's the vibes it gave me when I saw the trailer for it.
Well,
it's like some weird science fiction shit mixed in with World War II.
Which is fine for a video game. That's fine.
No, I played I played Return to Castle Wolfenstein a lot when I was a kid.
That was the best one.
Yeah, that's the best one.
Because it had the graphics with the storyline, and it was like, oh, this is fairly fucked up.
Yeah, Venom gun. Hell yeah.
Oh yeah, not good. Jesus, yeah, Wolfenstein. Yeah, and see, whenever I was playing that in the '90s, I was playing Doom.
Doom. Like, okay, so you were like old school back in the day then.
Yeah, back in the '90s. Like, yeah, I was a child. Like, I was like 7 years old playing Doom 2: Hell on Earth. And I replayed that game a couple like years ago. I had to stop because it was so creepy. Like, it was creepy then. Gave me nightmares of like shit that like the sounds and just the way shit was. And like I played a couple years ago, and it was like very still creepy. And I'm like, yeah, as a 7-year-old, woo, that's gonna be good on my mental health.
That's the thing about some of those games, man. Like, I remember my brothers and I we had our Super Nintendo, and we used to play Clue on that. There's a Clue Super Nintendo game, and just the graphics and the music of the game was like eerie. It was just creepy. I don't know what it was, but that's what gets people. It's not the jump scares and all that shit. It's the it's the psychological like weird shit that doesn't make sense to people.
Have you ever played Doom?
Not regularly, but I have before. Like I didn't grow up with it, but I also played Duke Nukem occasionally.
Yeah, Duke Nukem, that was fun. On N64. Yep. But yeah, Doom was like really fucking bad. Yeah.
Shit.
So
okay, so my friend who's watching this right now, she just messaged me through Facebook saying oh wait, no, she didn't. She just reminded me that Lawrence of Arabia is on tonight. I thought she was gonna say she doesn't like Lawrence of Arabia.
Oh, that is a long ass movie.
Yeah.
That is it's a good movie, but like and there's a lot of shit that they got wrong.
Yeah. My fucking friend one time, when we lived in LA, He was like, there's a theater in downtown Hollywood that's playing Lawrence of Arabia tonight. We got to go to it. And I'm like, we're going to be there until like 3 a.m.
Right. It's like 3 hours long, right? 3.5 hours long.
Yeah. And then we got to drive home, which takes like an hour and a half because it's LA.
Yeah, of course. Even though you're going like a half a mile. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that I mean, I watched it and it was like, okay, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
It was fun.
Right.
It kind of gave people like a taste of what happened, like with the Ottomans, and well, I mean, he was a real guy, but like he was weird.
Yeah. That's you can
Definitely
find
weird.
real yeah, you can find photos of him online. Yep. He was apparently like a weird BDSM guy, I guess, or something in real life. That's what I heard anyway.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but like I haven't. I mean, I wouldn't put it past him. Like the actor that they got actually looked a lot like him, which is interesting.
Yeah. No, I've seen photos of the real guy.
Yep.
Someone else put in here earlier in terms of overrated movies, which I definitely agree with. This one is Full Metal Jacket.
Oh, dude, I made a whole rant video about this a couple years ago.
Really?
Oh yeah, I made a whole. And there's people who are like, "Fuck you, you weren't there, you fat fucking." And I'm like, yeah, I wasn't there, but it doesn't take a head cashier at Walmart to figure out that this is fucking retarded.
Right. Yeah, I for me, like, I can't necessarily judge the military accuracy because I haven't studied Vietnam all that much, but just in terms of filmmaking, I really don't like the way the film is made. The movie feels like a rough cut to me. It doesn't feel like a finished movie. The editing is really weird, and then it's
terrible.
Yeah, it's just terrible. I the only reason it exists or has any kind of legacy, it seems, is because people think R. Lee Ermey is funny, and that's it, you know?
Right. And it's like, well, no, he was, I know you know this, but like for the people that are watching, R. Lee Ermey was an advisor on set and advising the drill instructor how to say things, how to do things, how to act, how to carry himself. And then they're just like, well, why don't you just do this? And then the advisor actually became the door gunner, which is fun. And or I'm sorry, the advisee, where they became a door gunner, the guy that was going to be cast as the drill instructor. But like earlier when we did that, but like they toned that down a lot. Like if you've like, I'm sure they were like, no, you can't say that, you can't do this, it's too rough. But like, you know, and everybody thought at that time they were like, oh my god, that's fucking terrible, that's insane. It's like, well, Marine Corps boot camp has been insane for many years.
Right.
Like nuts. And it's like, that was very tame. But hey, it's like, okay, we get this image of like, okay, here's what they went through. I get that. But like, yeah. It's very fucking overrated. Very overrated.
Very overrated. I don't get the point of the movie, honestly. I don't get what it's supposed to be about, honestly.
Yeah, and that was Kubrick, right? That did that?
Yeah, Stanley Kubrick, who did Paths of Glory, 20 some years before that.
Right. It's like, so what were you doing here?
Yeah, what the fuck happened? And it's probably the only Vietnam film ever to be filmed in England, which is kind of an interesting thing.
Yeah. Very weird.
Kubrick refused to shoot any movies outside of the place where he lived in England, so that's why the movie is shot there. So they had to fly in like palm trees and such to use for the city scenes.
That's fun. At least you could do A Clockwork Orange there.
Yeah, that's a fucked up movie.
Yeah, that was I watched that when I was in Kuwait. I was like, well, everybody's told me that I have to see this, so I guess I'll do that. And after I got done watching, I'm like, I feel dirty.
Yeah, it's a not good feel movie. a not good feel good movie. And it's one of those movies actually that I do think is overrated. I don't care for it. I don't really like it. I get it. It's shock value, but I just don't find it that interesting.
Yeah, same here.
Okay, yeah. So you didn't care for it either then.
Clockwork Orange?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was I didn't see the point. Again, like I didn't see the point.
It's shock value. Yeah.
I know at the end, yeah, he's actually still psycho and whatever, and like whatever. I get that. Like I understand that, but like all that lead up to like this, like not very good.
Right. Someone said Apocalypse Now. I like Apocalypse Now. Someone said that that's one of their favorites. Yeah, I like that one. That's a good one. I mean, not perfect, obviously, but it's interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting. That was also like the first actual like popular Vietnam War movie to come out right at the end, or after the Vietnam War.
Yeah, I think it was shot in like 76, and then it took them until 79 to complete it. So
right.
It was one of those huge like fucking nightmare production movies. Someone said Platoon. I'm not a Platoon fan.
Why not?
Why not? I just think it's overblown, and I don't really. I don't know. I find it to be. I don't want to say pretentious, but it seems a little full of itself to me. If I've only seen it once, okay, so I can't like give you a full breakdown of everything I don't like about it. But, yeah, but like also I just there are some Oliver Stone movies I like, and then there are some I really don't like because I think the man is like a line sack of shit most of the time, if I'm going to be blunt about it. And I think that he has some things in Platoon that are probably based on things that he experienced in Vietnam. However, I think a lot of it is exaggerations and bullshit that he made up.
Sure.
Yeah. And
agreed.
Agreed. Yeah. I think the final battle scene is just ridiculous. It's just crazy, and
well, yeah.
Okay. I mean, but
okay, so that yes, I'll agree with you on all points.
Okay.
From a lot of Vietnam vets that I've talked to that were actually like combat arms, did that shit, they're not fucking pencil pushers. The guys, they said that, yeah, Vietnam, because this is based, you might not know, or you might know that this is based on Oliver Stone's first 2.5 weeks in Vietnam.
Right.
Okay. And so I asked a lot of the Vietnam vets back in the day before a lot of them died. I said, how realistic is all these, or I'm sorry, how realistic are all these war movies? Like, what would you rate them? And they're like, blah, blah, Full Metal Jacket at the bottom, blah, blah, Platoon at the top. And I'm like, why is that?
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, because he captured what it's like being a grunt, like being a new grunt, being in the shit, and how you're treated, and how like just this shit just happens, and it's weird and unexpected. And they're like, yeah, a lot of it's Hollywood, but like that's really kind of how it was.
Yeah.
Okay.
See,
and then, so I asked about the last battle scene. That was a very specific thing.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, yeah, those kind of battles happened quite frequently, and it was really aggressive, especially in 68 and 69.
Mm-hmm.
Especially because that's when they were just going, hey, we're not going to fucking lose this. We're going to throw bodies towards us. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, so to your experience, how realistic was this? They're like, about a 7 out of 10.
Okay.
Which I would say is fairly okay for Hollywood. You know? That's the most. They said 7, some of them said 6, some of them said 8, but it was usually like a 7 out of 10. Okay. And I'm like, okay, and I would ask them, why is that? And they'd be like, because, yeah, this shit did happen. The Claymores, there's some little details that are wrong, but like blah blah blah. And but they're like, yeah, it was fucking nasty in 68 and 69. And this is kind of the kind of shit they would pull to try and demoralize our guys, to be like, you're outnumbered, you're fucked.
Yeah.
But really they weren't. So
I think that he probably captured a lot of the, if I'm going to, I'd probably capture a lot of the attitudes and like the dialogue and all that probably really well, because again, yeah, he was there. I think a lot of the characters were really good.
Right.
But I really don't like the whole thing with the two LTs going at each other, Willem Dafoe and the other guy, and then he kills him eventually.
Yeah, they're not LTs. They're the squad leaders. But
okay, squad leader.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, that was...
and then like Willem Dafoe, after he's shot, then like he's running in the field and he does this whole thing, and it's just like, this is dumb.
Like, that is Hollywood. That is Hollywood.
So
for sure, but like it's, I mean, it could have happened. Maybe if it did, that was fucked. But like, doubt it.
yeah,
And also, I mean, fratricide did happen a lot unintentionally, but sometimes intentionally. But with that kind of situation, I don't know. It could have happened. It could have happened.
yeah, but I didn't like how it kind of dictated the rest of the movie. You know, it's kind of what it's
No,
all
no,
about,
he would have been laying there where Barnes shot him.
right. Yeah,
Like that, it would have been it. Like, you know, and he'd be like, Elias is dead. Okay,
right,
okay, he's dead. How? What the fuck happened? I don't know.
right. Yeah,
Okay,
but then that also kind of was my problem. That like then that becomes kind of the focal point of the rest of the movie. You know, is
right,
this
right.
this Barnes guy and how what a piece of shit he is and everything like that.
And so that's what we were saying about like more previous or more current movies, which we'll get into on later streams. You start out okay. You get about halfway through it, and then you just fucking tank it.
yeah,
It's done.
you sink it. You're
It's
running.
over.
You're running with an egg on a spoon and you drop the egg. You know.
Right.
And that's the analogy. But you told me though that you really don't like talking about 80s, you know, Vietnam films. You really don't like Casualties of War.
No, I don't. I think it was
What?
bullshit.
Why don't you like that movie?
Well, because it was so propagandized and it was so guilt-ridden into. I haven't seen it again in about 9 years,
Okay.
but I still remember like Sean Penn, that whole thing, right? I don't like how the macro level it was. So I don't know if they were trying to or whatever. They're trying to portray the My Lai massacre, which was, you know, guys of the Americal division, which was not even a numbered division before then.
Yeah.
And if you're gonna portray something like that, like just don't have the cheesy lines like, "Yes, I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil. Cause I'm the meanest motherfucker in that valley." You know, like you'd have that written on your fucking helmet, like I do for my Vietnam shit.
Right.
Like you would just have that on there, and like you wouldn't have to say that.
Okay. Yeah. So
You know?
it's
and also you wouldn't have to the brutality that they and he's a sergeant, he's an E5, so the My Lai massacre was perpetrated by a lot more than a squad. Okay, a lot more than a squad. And they're trying to portray like what happened, and you know all these people just gun them down and then fucking whatever and rape and pillage and do whatever. Yeah, it was done by way more than a squad.
Okay.
And then they're getting tried for it at the end. It's like, well, that was the American way of kind of minimizing what actually happened at My Lai.
Okay.
And it was a lot more people involved, a lot more casualties, a lot more people that, you know, had their houses burned and whatever. It was a big deal for a reason, but like somebody's like, "Oh, to make a movie about this." Oh, so it's a squad. It's a squad of guys. It was like a squad of guys that did this.
Right.
Well, no.
Right. So it's like, yeah, it's making it minimal rather than showing what it really was, is what you're saying.
Right, but it's also taking the minimal amount of guys and making them out to be completely fucking just ridiculous savages, except for like the, you know, one or two antagonists, you know.
Right.
It's like, well, it didn't work like that. Like it was a couple guys. Sorry, I gotta clean my ears out. It was a couple guys that were fucking done mentally, just completely done. That got a lot of guys to do what they said because they were fucking in a red rage.
Well, that would be a more interesting movie then.
Correct.
Yeah. So I can understand.
Yep, and it was a red rage kind of thing. And again, not justifying it because that shit should not have happened. But it does happen in a fucking war, unfortunately. Right. That's why I don't advocate for any fucking wars, because this kind of shit happens.
Yeah, it's a phenomenon.
What rules you have, whatever. You don't hurt civilians. Civilians are going to get hurt. You know, and so that's why I hate war in general, is because like everybody gets hurt. But anyway, so in this case, the My Lai massacre was at least a platoon, if not more than it was people, whatever. I'll have to research this more to like, whatever. But like they literally lined people up and shot them.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're running around town like, oh, you didn't show up for that? Bam, pop, you're done.
Mm-hmm.
And they burned all their shit down. And that's what they try to replicate in Platoon to a very lesser extent. But like, it's like that shit didn't happen all the time. Like,
right. But
it did happen. It did happen.
Right.
But yeah.
But that's the thing. Like, if you get a movie though that's all about that, then that's what you're just gonna think that the war was, and
right. And it's fucked up.
Right. But someone said in here, after what I said about Full Metal Jacket, someone said in here, if you read Gustav Hasford's The Short Timers, Full Metal Jacket makes more sense. That's great and all. However, a movie should stand alone on its own and not have to rely on a book. That's what I always say when people try to make those arguments.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. So I appreciate that. However, I think that a movie should stand on its own and not have to rely on a book to make it make sense. Because I've heard people say that, like, when you complain about whatever, the Star Wars prequels or whatever, well, if you read the Star Wars book, it's like, no, fuck you. It's not about that. It's the movie.
Right.
It's the movie.
Just
Someone said in here, Generation War is one of their most favorite ones. I cannot get into that fucking thing for the life of me. I cannot get into Generation War. That's the German miniseries that's people say is the German Band of Brothers or whatever. I can't get into that one. It doesn't really say anything interesting to me about war. I don't learn anything new about war from it. It just seems to me like they were just trying to do, let's do a German perspective thing, but it's also really limited by its budget, and they don't show a lot of, big important battles in it and stuff. So I don't really like that one.
They do. Well, they show them briefly. They briefly.
Yeah, it's like, hey, everyone, let's have a huge build up to Kursk. Kursk is happening, and then Kursk is going, and then they cut
30 seconds.
Kursk. Yep. Yeah, and it's like, oh, good. I'm glad we didn't get to see the giant battle that we were building up to.
Yeah, that's true.
But I don't really think it has anything interesting to say. I mean, it's I don't know. It's just kind of basic. Like, hey, it's like it's what a lot of German war films are. It's like, hey, isn't war a bad thing? It's like, yeah, do you have anything else to say about it?
Right.
So that's kind of what I don't care about, because it's just like all German war films feel a lot like American Vietnam War films.
Mm-hmm.
And I can understand why, but at the same time, it's like, that's what, like, one of my favorites is Downfall, because it actually has something a bit more interesting to say and explore.
And negative,
yeah. So it's like, it's not like, man, isn't war bad? It's like, yeah, we know war is bad, but let's kind of explore what was driving this to happen,
Yep.
So
yeah, and that Downfall is actually like, yeah, I agree. I 100% agree with you on that. It's like, I've seen that a few times, and like, I know it's a meme, like the whole rant that he goes on, but like, you have to understand, like, that meme is like, that's a guy like at the absolute end of any rope he was holding on to.
Yep.
To be a fucking world leader. Like, he's done.
Yeah. And think about that too. It's like, not only, oh damn, my career's done. It's like, no, like you're dead. Yeah.
You're dead. You're
not
dead. One way or the other. You're dead.
Right. I like the line a lot in the movie that Goebbels says when they're thinking about, Mein Führer, you have to evacuate. And he says, the Führer cannot just disappear like from history, from like some inglorious fugitive. That's what he says. And it's true. Right. It's like, he can't just disappear, So.
What do you think about war movies with no combat? Are they still good? Depends on what they are, but.
Yeah, I mean, I had a big, debate with someone I know about this, who was like, to them, a war film is combat, and they didn't like things like, Best Years of Our Lives because it has no combat. And I'm like, no, a war film is a film that is about war. And if it's about the war, then it's a war film. That's how I see it. So there are good war movies that don't have any combat in them. I think Best Years of Our Lives is a really good one. There are other ones that I'll have to think about, because they can't come to me at
well, it's not good, moment. Michael.
I've been thinking a lot, god damn it.
So have I. Yeah, like Jarhead. What's funny is like I think that was a very accurate depiction of a lot of guys' deployments, right? Not everybody's, but like a lot of guys' deployments that wanted to do something so much
Mm-hmm.
and just never got to fucking do it. And a lot of people hate that movie. A lot of people hate that movie.
Yeah.
And for different reasons, but like I actually don't mind Jarhead. And people can disagree,
Yeah.
and that's fine, but like yeah.
I appreciate what Jarhead was. Jarhead was kind of like what Generation Kill was, afterwards. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's kind of like about how all of the, you're just basically not you're fighting your command and all this stuff, and you're not doing a whole lot. You're waiting around. I think the filmmaking style of Jarhead is not my taste, but it's okay. I appreciate what it's doing. I like the scene a lot where they finally get the call to take the shot and they're not able to do it. I like that scene a lot.
Right.
Yeah, that's really good. Yeah, someone's okay. Here we go. Yeah, Born on the 4th of July. That someone put that in there as a movie with basically no combat in it. That's the other Oliver Stone movie. I like that one a lot.
I actually haven't seen the whole thing.
Okay, all right, you should. It's actually really good.
I know the premise and everything, like what it's about. I just haven't seen it. But
okay, yeah, that I prefer that one way over Platoon. But in terms of Stone's war movies, but let's see what else. What's someone saying here? Blah, 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 no one ever got back to you.
They just can't. Like Matt's working, which sucks.
Sucks to suck.
Henry's with the kids, so I was like, well, can you come on a stream? No reply, so that means no.
Yeah.
And our esteemed colleague Brian. Fucking.
You think Brian's a no-go?
For tonight? Yeah. Rules of engagement. I don't think have I seen that one?
I haven't seen it. I don't know what that is. It's a TV show with David Spade, apparently.
Yeah. Overrated films, Forrest Gump.
Oh, you agree with that?
It depends on how you look at it.
Keep going.
So I look at it as it's a very moral story in the end, like the long run. Like the details kind of matter, but they don't.
Mm-hmm.
In the bigger picture, like so Jenny, she's talented, she's good-looking girl, very smart, very whatever. Forrest, a little bit retarded, but he makes good decisions.
Mm-hmm.
Happens to make good decisions. She makes shitty decisions, and they circle around. You know, he gets the Medal of Honor. He's a fucking millionaire. He fucking football star.
Yep.
Ping pong star, makes all this money. Goes back to his home life. They circle up again. She dies. They conceive a child. My whole opinion of that movie is if you make good decisions in life, this could be very propagandistic too.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll just preface it with that. If you make good decisions in life, it doesn't matter how smart or dumb you are.
Yeah, I think that is the point, because it's Forrest Gump, who's stupid. He never does anything stupid in life.
Stupid is as stupid does.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
So, yeah.
Right.
Although I have heard that movie has, because I saw that movie as a kid, and I think that Robert Zemeckis, the director who also made Back to the Future, he's just a pro at making entertaining movies. And
Yep.
I can't say that I don't enjoy watching that movie, even though if I can understand all of the points that people make against it,
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, the man Dan is the one who brought it up. You say I used to like Forrest Gump, but now. So I would love to just write in the chat, what made it so? What made you change your mind over the years? I'm curious.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I can watch the movie all day. It's very, at the end, it gets like really depressing, and like I just want to fucking cry. But like, all right. So I got more out of Full Jacket after serving as a pogue. It definitely made Joker's subconscious envy of the grunts more relatable, and his verbal jabs more hilarious. It holds up even without the boot camp part. Okay. Yeah. Christ, break this down. Realistically, like he wouldn't have been out there with a rifle in the Battle of Way City. It just would not have fucking happened.
He's a reporter, isn't he?
Yeah, more than likely it would not have happened. Even though, like, all Marines on fucking, you know, oh, you got away with a rifle. It probably went to, I think that film was very romanticized, and like not realistic at all. Except for the Battle of Way. Like the Battle of Way was fucked up. Way City, oh my god.
Yeah.
It was insanely fucked up.
Yep.
Like, holy shit. But like him as a reporter, like you give him a rifle and a bunch of fucking combat gear. I just don't see it. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it doesn't make any sense because he's a combat correspondent. It's like if the guy in Das Boot was manning a gun or something like that,
Right.
The correspondent. But another freaking, there's so many 1980s Vietnam films. It's ridiculous. And another one that I don't like at all, but seems like it was pretty popular. The Deer Hunter.
Oh yeah. So I actually haven't seen that in completion since I was younger. My dad made me watch it, of course. And with the Russian roulette scene, I was like, yeah, well, not a good idea. But I actually haven't seen that all the way through enough to like make a modern assessment.
Okay, it'd be interesting to know what your thoughts are now.
From what I remember, come on.
Yeah, but that's for some reason it's like it's one of the big ones, and I'm just like, not really, not my thing.
Yeah, it's another film that was like made right after Vietnam, and people were being artistic with it.
Yeah, trying to, I guess, make sense of it all or something.
Yeah, I mean that's the only explanation you can give is make sense of it all.
Yeah,
but it's like it's still like Apocalypse Now. Even like I as an art form, yeah, it was good.
Mm-hmm.
But
no, it's not history.
No, not at all. But it's an art form. It's an art form of trying to make sense of it all and like getting into the psyche of people and maybe, but whatever. And yeah, The Boys of Company C that you probably haven't seen, and it was actually Arlie Ermey's first time on film as a DF.
I have seen.
Okay,
that.
So you have seen that.
Yep.
Very, very fucking swayed to one side of like, yeah.
Yeah, I fucking hate how it ends with the fucking soccer match. It's so weird.
He gets killed and fucking.
Yeah, whatever. It's just like, what is this? Is this supposed to be funny? Come on. But I thought that
it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm
okay.
done.
But yeah, that was one to where like, very low budget. I'll just say that.
Yeah, and like Arlie Ermey, like even in his like drill instructor like role, it's like, yeah, he would have had a conversation with that guy and like told him that like, I don't want to fucking whatever N bomb.
Right.
I want a man. It's like, no, he would have. There would have been a lot of screaming involved.
Yeah.
It's like it's not a talk.
This one-on-one with him.
Right. Yeah. No, not unless it's like the day before graduation.
Right.
But like it wasn't. And yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, that's although Arlie Ermey's character in that movie is far more likable than he is in Full Metal Jacket.
Looks just more realistic, except for a couple scenes.
Right. Yeah.
where he's just like screaming and yelling and like getting these guys, and you know, that's okay. But like, he also had a tooth missing in that one.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, you should go back and look at that, because yeah, he got it replaced later. But like, yeah, he had a tooth missing. But no, he was like pretty fresh on that. It was 10 years, you know. So you know how to be a DI, and the other guys too, like the Mexican guy and the other guys knew how to be DIs. Like they were yelling, screaming, blah blah blah. And it wasn't like Full Metal Jacket where he was just like raising his voice. I thought,
right.
Like in Full Metal Jacket, he wasn't yelling. Like, okay, most people have not been screamed at, right? Most people have not been screamed at. It's not fun, okay? And my mom did it, fortunately, you know, when I was growing up. And then when I got to basic, they were screaming at me, 5 of them, and I was like, "Oh, well, actually, my mom's about like this, or you know, these guys aren't that bad." You know, but like in the movies, they don't actually like. If you watch clips, like I mean, I could send you clips all day, Michael, about like people screaming, like drill instructors and drill sergeants screaming at privates and recruits.
Right.
It's like, it's so fucking loud.
Yeah.
You know, and it's
you
like
hear what he's saying.
A lot of these people like piss their pants. Literally a guy, not in my platoon, but like another platoon, pissed his pants. In our first day, like at actual basic, like out of reception. He pissed his pants. He was so fucking scared.
So I mean, but like in that moment though, like when they're doing that, you kind of almost can't even understand what they're saying, right?
Right.
Yeah, it's just like doesn't even matter or whatever.
Right. And that's when the guy came out, when our junior came out, like I told you this, I won't rant about this, but like when our junior came out, and he came out in front of us in our platoon, and he's a small guy who's about 5'4", probably 160 pounds because he was built. And he had a 1st Marine Division combat patch on his right shoulder. And I'm like, oh, fuck. This guy was a Marine. That's not good.
So you know. And
he was an E5, which in the Army, like in the Marine Corps, an E5 is usually a drill sergeant, right? Or a drill instructor, I'm sorry. E5. In the Army, it's usually an E6 or an E7. And he was an E5, and I'm like, oh my God, we're fucked. And then he just talked. I'm like, oh God, this is not good. But yeah, but it's the other guys, like they screamed constantly. And it was like, okay. But it's, you get used to it and you understand what they're saying. Like a lot of the people that are maybe watching this after the fact that we do this, or in the comments right now, who were Marines, they'll be like, yeah, you understand like when they're screaming, you understand what they're saying after an amount of time.
Okay.
It's what the whole point of it. Like it's like, because in combat, like people are going to be screaming, okay? And you might not know what they're saying if you're not used to that. So if you understand how somebody sounds when they're screaming, that might help you in the future.
Right.
So that's the whole kind of mental thing behind it. A lot of people are like, oh, it's just mental torture. It's like, well, okay, you can think about it that way, but like it does come in handy when you get deployed. It does. So
yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So that's the whole thing with that. But Full Metal Jacket, like earlier, me is just raising his voice. He's not really yelling.
Yeah.
Or screaming. So.
Ugh, I'm tired, man.
You tired?
I'm tired.
You know what this is?
Yeah, your little tiny fucking violin, whatever.
Yeah, playing the world's saddest song.
Yeah, or is that how you jerk off?
No, I swear my fingers apart a little bit more than that.
Oh, okay. That
not
right
that
there.
far. Yeah,
okay.
That far. Yeah, no, you're close, but no cigar. All right, everybody, thanks for watching.
This is fun.
Michael, thanks for being on here later than. Well, your time is pitiful. I wouldn't even announce that. But no, we've gone for like 2 3/4 hours. Like it's fine.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Almost 3.
Yep. Good stuff. All right, gentlemen. So what should be the keyword if they watch this post this? What should be the keyword that they say in the comments?
Purple monkey dishwasher.
Purple monkey dishwasher. Like it.
Yeah. Say that.
All right, fuckers. Thanks for the super chats, all you guys. Thank you for watching. And we'll... What the fuck?
Do a tooth whistle.
See you next time. It's fucked. It's fucked. Just leave it at that.